At what point did Days Gone become considered a cult classic? When the game first released, it was met with heavy criticism from gaming journalists who clearly did not play the game long enough to form, in my opinion, a fair review. I do a lot of research for these type of videos and fact check everything that I do. I will leave a link to my resources that I pulled from in the description. You will also see some notes that I left for myself when I was writing this script. There were a lot of reviews I did not pull from because it got to a point I had about 15 or more tabs pulled up, and they were all, for the most part, repeating themselves. Shout out to Firefox for being an amazing browser, please sponsor me. I am not going to waste your time here. I wholeheartedly believe critics screwed this game over. I will explain why as I go through the video. Play this game, it will be certainly worth your time. While researching, I stumbled upon an old Reddit AMA. For those of you that don't know what that is, it is a thread where commenters get to ask questions to a celebrity. Usually this is done because said celebrity is trying to promote something. They provide photo proof of them holding something with their username on it. This specific thread was hosted by the amazing voice actor for Deacon and other media, Sam Witwer. I will also have the AMA linked in the description. Someone asked him how he felt about the critics' negative reviews. He mentioned that one of the reviews that he read didn't mention a fairly large part of the game as well as its marketing, the freaker hordes. Witwer was kind enough to leave the author of the review anonymous. That had me thinking if critics intentionally sabotaged Days Gone. My first thought behind this was from the Fallout New Vegas conspiracy, and that Bethesda paid off Metacritic to make sure that the game didn't get a score of 85 from critics. Unfortunately, these company higher-ups, shareholders, etc. only pay attention to these dog water journalists. Again, I use that word very loosely because if you look at the reviews for Days Gone, it sits at an overall of 71 from 109 critics, with 8.5 from 12,912 users. If you look at Steam, you will see it has an overall very positive review of 92% from 36,568 reviews. That's interesting. Hey everyone, OrdinarySith here. I got that number wrong. I don't know where some wires got crossed, but it isn't that far off from the actual number. Sorry about that. So, for about 2 hours, I went through way too many reviews from popular sites / critics to not so popular ones. By the time I was done, I had about 2 pages worth of written notes. From what I've gathered, mostly, if not all the popular critics did in fact rush through the game, did not play for longer than 5 hours tops, and that's being generous. Some of them outright lied about character progression and exploration, and I can say without a shadow of doubt, there is no way that most of all the popular critics completed the main story. Only a few of the popular ones have fair criticisms of the game, which in fact the less popular ones talked about the exact same thing. Those were only about 2 to 4 complaints. I did find that the smaller critics were more forgiving of the game, and like I said, throughout the video I will go over each review I pulled from at appropriate times. Before I go any further, I want to say in my earlier videos I was not using my real voice. Well, to an extent. I talk in a very monotone way with high fluctuations when I am passionate about a topic. So previously I was talking like this. I thought this would resonate with viewers instead of a blandish tone. I talked like that for the entire 7-hour Skyrim video. That's basically me scream talking into the microphone, and it's just not suitable. It makes my throat hurt a lot, and I'm sorry if you feel deceived. Anywho, with that out of the way, if this is your first video of mine, I do these type of videos with themes in mind. With Days Gone, the theme is hope. In this video, I will be going over the ups and downs of Days Gone, why it was met with harsh criticisms, and figure out if it truly is a cult classic or just a regular decent game. Like I said in the previous video, feel free to put me in the background. If you are going to bed and like to play YouTube in the background like I do, then I wish you good night. If you are eating like I also do while watching YouTube, then comment below and tell me what you're having. And if you want to, drop a comment below to guess how many words are in this script. At the end of the video, I will tell you. Days Gone was originally released on April 23rd, 2019, exclusively on PlayStation. Thank you, Sony. It wasn't until May 18th, 2021 the game would become available on Steam following its remaster version. Nothing like Oblivion Remaster, this was simply a texture upscale, more polishing, better lighting, UI changes, game modes, and a permadeath option. Consider this a quality of life upgrade with a few pretty textures. Days Gone takes place in Farewell, Oregon. Our protagonist is a man named Deacon St. John, sometimes going by Deke or St. John. There isn't much about his early life, but at some point into his adulthood he would serve in the US military, specifically the Army in the 10th Mountain Division. When his tour in Afghanistan ended, he would leave the military. This was because of the emotional trauma that happened. While on a mission, Deacon's unit was ambushed by a Taliban group. Their Humvee was destroyed and fell off a cliff into the Hari River. When Deacon came to, he realized he was the only survivor. Hoping to find other survivors, he swam out to the wreckage, instead finding 8 bodies that he pulled back to shore. After his honorable discharge, Deke would purchase a motorcycle and spend a few years on the road drifting from place to place until he returned home and found a job as a mechanic for a motorcycle shop owned by a man named Jack. Jack was the president of a motorcycle club named the Mongrels. Jack would go on to offer Deacon a membership and eventually patch him in as an enforcer. Deke would meet another character in the game, Boozer from the MC. The two would form a close bond, each seeing the other as a brother. Boozer's wife was killed in a drunk driving accident. Deacon would find Boozer halfway through a whiskey case. Instead of watching Boozer drown himself to death, Deacon chugged the whole bottle and told Boozer if he wanted to drink himself to death, he wasn't going to do it alone, because that's what brothers do. One day, Deacon met a botanist named Sarah Whitaker when her car broke down and he happened to be driving by asking for directions. The pair hit it off instantly, with Sarah agreeing for a ride. During that ride, they almost had a fatal car accident when a group of rednecks, the game's words, not mine, were not paying attention and almost hit them. He would go on to take Sarah back to her car after she found cell phone reception to discover the same people attempting to steal from her car. Deke tries to intervene, but it's a numbers game and he is quickly overrun. As he's getting beaten up, Sarah pulls a gun from his motorcycle saddlebag, firing a warning shot that causes the group to leave. The rest is history. They fall in love. Sarah teaches him about various plants that show up later in game. Deacon goes nomad for her, meaning he won't be involved directly with the MC and their activities, but still a member of it. Remember this also. The pair got married, which Sarah's parents deeply hated. They and all of the MC except for Boozer didn't show up to their wedding. Cue the intro to the game. A voice is giving an announcement that all evacuees are to get off the streets and remain indoors. Boozer is walking toward Deke, who is kneeled next to Sarah as she clutches a stab wound that pierced her kidney and she's now turning septic. In her words, the stabbing was from a little kid with a big knife. Deke finds O'Brien, a member of the National Emergency Response Organization, or NERO for short, begging him to take Sarah so she doesn't die. He's hesitant at first until his life is threatened when Deacon pulls a pistol on him. Unfortunately, there is only space for 2 more people. Boozer pushes Deacon to go with Sarah on the helicopter, but he refuses to leave Boozer on his own. He parts ways with Sarah, giving her his ring, as O'Brien tells him they are going to a refugee camp west of Three-Fingered Jack. 2 years have gone by, and we are presented with Deacon and Boozer in the process of chasing after a man named Leon. The pair stop at the Pioneer Cemetery, with Deacon believing that Leon couldn't have gotten far. Here we see a woman with the last name Alvarez, who traveled with him and Boozer previously. She received a fatal injury at the hands of Leon. Leon quickly drives away and a chase ensues. During this time, we are introduced to a small tutorial on how to use the nitrous attached to our motorcycle for a speed boost. This speed boost doesn't feel like much until multiple upgrades later. We're also introduced to the bike chase mechanic that will be used throughout the game. Technically, you're supposed to dodge the fire from the Molotovs if it's thrown at you. I never did throughout the entire playthrough. I think it's just there to serve as an action-based chase sequence. During these chase sequences, or if you're just regularly driving around the open world, you can find small hills and ramps to jump off. Leon eventually gets off his bike when near the woods where he tries to make an escape. Another mechanic is shown to us, survival vision mode. With this, we can track humans from their footsteps and animals through blood trails if we were unable to kill them in one shot. Additionally, all crafting materials will be highlighted until survival vision's duration ends. This can be extended with skill upgrades. As we track Leon, he gets the drop on us, grazing Deacon with a round from his pistol. Leon continues to run away but is quickly caught up with since he's bleeding out. Deacon mocks him, saying that's a slow, painful way to go out. Both of them upset that Leon couldn't put Alvarez out of her misery. Deacon stops Boozer from killing him because they need the location of his stash. Deacon is able to persuade him here since he is bleeding out. They can smell it, asking Leon what would it feel like being torn apart, eaten alive. We're given a map of his stash location at the cemetery, then he begs for death so he won't be left to them. This scene bugged out for me. When he's killed, his entire body disappeared except for a floating hat. Boozer grabs the hat, saying Tuck's gonna need something for the bounty. After this, he'll tell us we did the right thing. We don't want to leave anyone to the freakers. This will be a reoccurring theme with some of the major characters throughout the story. No one deserves to be killed by them, and after completing this game and doing a thorough breakdown of characters, etc., I can agree that while I do absolutely despise some of the characters in here for good reasons because they are well-written characters, I do agree that no, none of them should be left to be eaten alive by the freakers. The crafting tutorial starts as we are leaving the forest. There are many materials throughout Days Gone. More materials enter the world after unlocking recipes. For the most part, all the materials are super easy to find, even for the better recipes later in game. The main issue I have is how many certain materials we can hold. In the early game, before upgrades, we cannot hold much. That does make sense until you see that you can hold 60 rounds of ammunition on your person. But I can only hold a few cans of kerosene. With upgrades, I can hold slightly more kerosene. Now, this isn't the same for other materials. I mentioned kerosene specifically because it seemed like no matter what I did, I was constantly running out. Kerosene is the main ingredient to make Molotovs. There are other ingredients required such as beer bottles and rags. Never ran out of those. There are so many things you need to burn in this game, as well as using them to defend yourself from hordes. The one ingredient I seem to be willing to whore myself out for is kerosene. There are the obvious medical bandages shown in this tutorial, as well as cocktails that become available after certain objectives or missions are completed. There are 33 crafting recipes, however 3 are locked behind New Game Plus. As for medical recipes, we have the previously mentioned bandages that restore a small amount of health. The 3 cocktails restore a greater amount for each respective category. These are health, stamina, and focus meter. Each cocktail's effect can be upgraded later with perks. The focus meter is a time-slow effect Deacon can use for precision aim with a firearm. Melee weapons, explosives, and bolts for the crossbow have multiple recipes tied to them. During my playthrough, I tried to use most of the weapons. Making our way back to our parked bikes, it's revealed that Leon shot out the fuel pump. The search for a new one is underway, but first we need to push a car from a blockade. This will happen more throughout the game. It kinda gets annoying after a while. Alarms are on some of the cars, indicated by a red flashing light. In total, I found 3 cars like this. Then another tutorial is presented when we are jumped by 3 dudes. This time it's how to fight in melee combat. Spam the X button to break free of an enemy's grip, press R2 to attack, hold the left stick for whichever direction you want to attack, and hold the left stick while tapping R1 to perform a dodge roll. Button mashings happen often, but there is an option in the settings to turn them off. I recommend doing so. A cutscene then plays, showing us arriving to an unlit tunnel, and you guessed it, another tutorial. Boom, down on the D-pad. Why are we still doing this? Anyways, you toggle the semi-useless flashlight on and off. There are so many games that have flashlights, and I swear the majority of them can't get it right. It's either too bright, too dark, not wide enough, and/or only works properly in some spots. Freakers react to the light, but it doesn't mean anything. This isn't like I Am Legend where they see the light and they burn. We take point to go into this tunnel and another tutorial, this time through a cutscene. It's small and serves to teach us about freaker nests. This loops back to my rant about kerosene earlier. Every nest in the game can be destroyed by fire. We can place explosives next to them, or be like me and accidentally throw a pipe bomb instead of a Molotov and nothing will happen. It must be fire. Our options are throwable fire-based recipes or an incendiary bolt. Now for me, I would think, oh, I can just dip my crossbow bolts in kerosene and get a bunch. Wrong! You can get 3 up to 6 later as an upgrade, which isn't all that bad until I need the same material, cedar sapling, to make other bolts. So do I waste my precious kerosene on bolts or use it for Molotovs to help me with hordes as well as burning nests? When we find a nest, it will be surrounded by a red area on the map. This prevents all fast travel that requires going through or around its general direction until all nests are cleared. This prevents all fast travel that requires going through or around its general direction until all nests in that specific area are cleared. I like this mechanic. It makes sense that you can't fast travel somewhere the game flags unsafe. This promotes exploration while keeping the player engaged with side content as well. Moreover, it shows us why there are so many freakers around here to begin with. There are 2 types of nests in Days Gone. The first and more common ones are freaker nests, burn it, and a small handful of them come out. The second type is in the mid-game and the end-game. They are nests of birds that have become infected. These ones are so unbelievably awful to do. Oh my god, let me tell you. Not because the birds are a problem, no. You must burn 1 nest at a time on a tree that may have 3 to 6. Instead of burning the entire tree, we must throw mollies or shoot bolts at them each. Here and there, I found myself getting lucky when I threw a molly at a nest and it would spread to the second one, or if I was really lucky, a third one. I don't know if that was a bug or not. My research indicated that it's supposed to spread to nearby ones, but because of weird hitboxes, that doesn't always happen. Take that how you will. With skill upgrades, we can go from carrying 3 Molotovs to 6. Stated many times now, my precious, in a way, is quite limited to gather. So, what the heck am I supposed to do when I arrive to an area that has 7 nests and I can only hold 6 Molotovs? The area doesn't have any kerosene nearby, and now I'm finding myself on a Reddit thread farming static locations of my precious. It doesn't want us to have it. That is a terrible golem. Oh my god. Anywho, all nests you burn, you'll get material from to make residue bolts that turn enemies against one another. I don't think I've ever said kerosene this much in my life. Back at the tunnel, we open the hoods and trunks of cars. The trunks will sometimes provide crafting materials, while under the hoods will give scrap and sometimes a suppressor for a weapon. The makeshift suppressors are made from the vehicle's oil filter and won't last long, but it's better than nothing. Buying them from vendors is pretty cheap, so really all around it's not too bad. Sometimes 2x4s are found in the bed of trucks if you find yourself desperate for a melee weapon. Police cars will almost always have a small amount of ammunition in the trunk, while EMS vehicles will have a med kit most of the time. Making our way through the tunnel to a gas station, we are shown newts for the first time. Newts are children who were infected by the virus. They don't attack unless provoked by going near their nests. It's worth mentioning the nests that you can find them in are not actually nests that need to be burned down. The sneak mechanic is also introduced here. We can sneak up on anyone to perform an insta-kill with a melee weapon. Some freakers you cannot do this to without upgrades. There is a speaker icon next to the minimap that indicates how loud we are. Sneaking raises it a little, jogging and sprinting raises it a lot. Upgrades reduce the noise meter when sneaking or generally moving around. I did not find this useful at all because the sneaking in this game is very forgiving. After we gather a fuel pump, we radio Boozer we're headed his way when he is suddenly attacked by a pair of shirtless men who have cuts all over their bodies.
These tats are dead symbols of a dead man! Dead symbols of the lost!
Get off me! Sons of bitches! Biker man!
You must be brought low, Biker man, for you are lost, and we are found.
Fuck you! Ah! The path, brother! The path!
We will show you. You are not one of the found! You are the lost!
The path!
You are lost! Get low!
This faction is called the Rippers. They cut themselves, worship the Freakers, wanting to be like them, whilst taking copious amounts of hard drugs. Their leader is a man named Carlos. Once the Rippers are killed, a cutscene plays to not only show how painful Boozer's arm looks, but also shows a horde on its way. Fortunately, we get away just in time to arrive to our safe house atop O'Leary Mountain. We help get Boozer to bed as we set out to find medication for his burns and get our bike back. To do this, we'll head to a Nero camp in hopes of finding sterile bandages and painkillers. Shortly after the outbreak, Nero set up camps in order to stop the spread of the virus by quarantining potential infected people. The civilians were definitely infected because after they turned, Nero killed them, establishing mass burial sites. Research on Freakers were also conducted at these checkpoints. There are a good number of checkpoints in this game, each providing their own challenge to get the power back. Each facility has a generator that Deacon needs to power with gas. Some of the generators require a bit of scrap to repair before working, and later in game, some of the checkpoints additionally require a power chip, usually in a box somewhere around the site. Before the power is turned on, you'll want to get rid of all the megaphones, otherwise when the power is returned, they will attract Freakers. Once inside, there will be a container that was left by Neuro researchers. It contains an injection to increase your health, stamina, or focus meter. The upgrades can also be found outside of checkpoints, sometimes in caves or areas that require you to speed boost to reach them. Each upgrade location contains a recorder, which are from the previous researchers. The checkpoints that have beds are not always safe, as you may wake up to a horde the next day like I did. Whenever you unlock a new place to sleep, you'll also get a gun locker. Here you can switch weapons from your primary, secondary, and special slots. Weapons range from Tier 1 junk condition like the starting pistol up to Tier 5 special forces. Some weapons are unlocked when completing objectives like clearing hordes. Vendors sell tiered weapons that will require trust to be built up to a certain level before purchase. At the end of the video, I'll go over what I consider to be the better weapons and ones that you shouldn't waste your money on. Beginning the walk to recover our bike, a stranger is spotted sneaking around the safe house. Giving chase leads to a marauder camp that needs to be cleared out by killing everyone. These show up throughout the game with varying enemy types depending on the faction involved. Deacon finally reaches his bike only to discover someone has stolen it, with someone from Copeland's camp fleeing upon seeing us. Giving chase leads us back to said camp, but we're stopped when armed guards block us from entry. We tell them someone stole our bike, prompting the guards to say they don't know anything about that. We gotta go talk to Manny about it. Nose down, work hard, they feed you is a phrase Deke and Manny share. Manny is the mechanic at Copeland camp and who we will spend most of the early to mid game with. He once ran a bike shop in Farewell and required the other workers to read a book called Zen and the Art of Bike Repair, quoting, "Being a mechanic requires a great peace of mind." When questioning him about our missing bike, he says he doesn't know and talks about a new bike they just received. You can see where this is going. When Deacon looks over to the strip bike, Manny chimes in, "Oh, you don't want this one. The previous owner was some idiot, just left it out there to rust. Been rode too hard and the fool that rode it didn't know anything about bikes and it's been shot to hell. On top of that, it didn't have a fuel pump, just like the one we have in our hands. Rightfully so, Deke is upset until Copeland, the leader of the camp, steps in wanting to speak with us. The camp got hit hard by Rippers again. Some say they're looking for us and Boozer. More importantly to Copeland, he wants to talk about the package that Leon was carrying. The reason why we were chasing after Leon in the beginning of the game is that he and Alvarez stole drugs from Tucker's camp to earn camp credits from Copeland. Leon wanted it all to himself, so he killed Alvarez. Copeland wants us to track down the stash location and bring it back to him. Doing so, Copeland will see what he can do about our bike situation, to which we point out that his men stole it from us in the first place. When we're walking away, Copeland actually spots Leon's hat on our person grabbing it. Deacon seems to go into a small panic, never wanting Cope or seemingly anyone to touch him again. My first impression of this was that he had some trauma related to touching. I was wrong. Copeland wants us to start doing runs for him, with him already having the first one for us. Take out a group of drifters that have been harassing his supply runs. They moved into a radio tower to the west of O'Leary Mountain. Do this and we'll earn some camp credits and trust. This is a good point to segue into the multiple camps spread throughout Days Gone. In total, there are 5 camps, with the first 2, Copeland's and Tucker's, being the more important ones in regards to the secret ending of the game. There are 3 camp types to be found: labor camps, such as Tucker's; regular camps, Copeland's, where folks are just trying to get by, but still with a sense of community. The last type is discovered in the endgame, which is a militia/military-esque camp. Each camp houses several vendors. Kitchens, where we turn in materials gathered from plants and hunted animals. A place to turn in freaker bounties, i.e. the ears gathered from slain ones. Mechanics, who will repair, fuel, upgrade, and customize our motorcycle. Finally, each camp has a merchant to sell you weapons, upgrades, ammunitions, throwables, medical supplies, etc. In order to gain access to these bike and weapon upgrades, we must earn the trust of the camp through 3 tiers and earn camp credits. I want you to remember, we are building up trust with these camps. This is something I greatly appreciate with this game. So many games reward you with a base amount of money to spend anywhere. In Days Gone, doing a job for whichever camp earns you credits to spend specifically at that location. I like that I'm not forced to pick and choose where and when I need to spend my credits. It gives a good sense of player choice because let's say you want to try this weapon or you need this bike upgrade. You can focus on doing missions for that camp's area, clear out nests for a camp's region, turn in gathered materials to a specific camp, and participate in world events just for that one camp. World events are at random, indicated by a blue question mark shown on the minimap. These events can be a small group of freakers that you can kill and get valuable resources, like my precious. When you explore the area, the ones you want to get the most is a hostage situation. A faction is about to execute someone or multiple people trying to survive against a small group of freakers. My only complaint from world events, more so with hostage situations, is in Act 3 of the game. It seemed like no matter what I did, I could never, ever make it in time to save them, even when it was just a couple of freakers, and at that point I had all the motorcycle upgrades. If successful in saving them, you will be prompted to send them to a discovered nearby camp location. For example, sending someone to Tucker's camp gives more credits, but if you send them to Copeland's camp, you'll build trust faster. Again, this is another way to give player choice and aid with whatever upgrades you need or want from whichever respective camp. I want to point out that some reviews from these so-called journalists did not talk about building trust with camps as well as not mentioning world events. Surprisingly, IGN was one of the more popular ones that actually did talk about it. I truly cannot understand how anyone can make a review and not talk about the camps. I can excuse world events because they are optional and really are not important to the main story at all, but the camps are woven into the main story, and you meet them very early into the main story. The trust mechanic is a main focal point in Days Gone. The drugs that were stolen can be returned to Tucker or given to Copeland for an additional trust boost. Tucker's camp, in my opinion, is not worth sending survivors to since she only offers 200 credits opposed to 500 trust from Copeland. Building up trust with her isn't that hard either. Her camp was my first to reach max level trust with. Credits for that camp are not hard to come by as well. Before we leave, Manny stops us to apologize for what happened as well as giving us a new motorcycle. This will be our bike for the rest of the game. A common complaint I found amongst critics is the gas situation. Your motorcycle runs out of gas too fast. In the early game, I absolutely agree with this. Games like this are meant to be a struggle in the early game. However, I find it to be a valid complaint when I drive 300 or so meters for a mission and now a third of my gas is gone. To counter this, the devs have placed a lot of gas stations throughout the world that never seem too far away from an objective, as well as jerry cans in most places. Here I am arriving to a nest with low fuel. Right here there is a jerry can. A lot of POIs are like this. I personally think this is a bad choice. The game tells the player, hey, you run out of gas extremely fast. Better make sure you're always filled up. This gets rid of any sense of danger running out of gas. In my playthrough, I ran out of gas one time because I knew to keep it constantly filled. Even when I did run out, I knew all I had to do was look around for 5 to 10 minutes tops and I would find a jerry can. What I would have done is get rid of half the gas stations and change the amount of gas gained from jerry cans, because as it stands, no matter how low on fuel you are, a can will give you a full tank of gas, even with the highest fuel tank upgrade. As mentioned earlier, this was a common complaint with critics, but those same critics failed to mention fuel tank upgrades. I had the highest upgrade possible and I hardly needed to refill it. Even the mid-tier upgrades aren't that bad. Gas is literally everywhere. It's worth noting that gas isn't consumed during story missions either. Outside of the fair criticisms of gas running out in the very early game, I don't want to hear complaints after multiple upgrades when the game shows you 4 different ways to tell you how much gas you have and if it's running out soon. When we get on our bike to drive wherever, we see the percentage meter showing a precise amount of gas we have. Next to the minimap is a gas icon. White, you're good. Yellow, you need to get fuel soon. Red, you better get fuel right now. When fast traveling, the game shows how much gas will be consumed. Moreover, if you farm trust for Copeland, which is easy and you can get a jump start from turning in the drugs, it will not take long to get an upgrade from Manny. I swear these journalists don't even try in the slightest. There are several upgrades for the motorcycle, with the best being saved for the endgame camps. There are plenty of options to customize our bike, the color, decals, headlights, etc. These are listed as visual upgrades only, so you know what you're getting and they don't cost a lot compared to performance upgrades. Upon completing missions and/or objectives, you will earn custom decals. There are also a few from different games like God of War and Horizon Zero Dawn. There's even a fuel tank upgrade variation that houses the baby from Death Stranding in it. Scrap is used to repair the motorcycle if it breaks down. The amount of scrap needed is dependent on how much health the bike has, shown by the crossing wrench and screwdriver icon next to the fuel icon. Driving off hills, enemies damaging it, driving through water, and crashing into things all lower its health. I found myself spending 3 to 6 scrap on average. Rare instances like someone shooting you off the bike or a tripwire ambush knocking you off will break it instantly. There are snipers hidden in trees in the endgame. I encountered one, but my bike was not fully destroyed. I'm assuming that was because I had all the upgrades at that point. Around the mid-game, a sneaky tripwire did get me, and that did fully break it. However, scrap is everywhere in this game. I mean, so much that even with storage capacity upgrades for materials, I could not hold the amount of scrap I found. Scrap is also used for crafting recipes and repairing melee weapons, depending on if you have that skill or not. A couple of the critics' reviews mentioned this repair mechanic. Some of them had no complaints and others had a few things to say. I found more complaints from a lot of Reddit threads about running out of scrap. I honestly do not know how they did, but I specifically want to point out this article from Digital Trends. The author complains about several mechanics in the game as well as docking points for, and I quote, needless survival mechanics. Also talking about how annoying fast traveling is because of it being tied to how much fuel you have. Duh. And if you have not cleared out the nest yet. They believe gas is consumed too fast. As said before, I agree, but again, only for the very early game. They go on to complain more the motorcycle needs to be repaired a lot because it's broken all the time. No, it does not. You simply suck. Oh no. Whatever will I do with my crappy bike made from scraps for a couple of hours? Certainly not play the game and earn the upgrades quickly. Gaming journalists and a lot of modern gamers want everything handed to them immediately without earning anything. Everything I do must have a reward. I can't go 20 minutes in the game without some action happening. At the end of every cutscene, I need to have some kind of reward, otherwise I don't feel fulfilled and I'm making any progress. The icing on the cake is the same author says scrap and gas never feel like a dire situation. Then why are you complaining about it? Like I said, I can get past the gas argument, but you complain about survival mechanics without wanting them. If your bike needs to be repaired a lot, maybe you should play the game and earn trust so you can get away from freakers once you've upgraded the durability of your bike as well as the speed. You know, maybe that'll help you survive. You want an easier time fast traveling? Play the game so you can upgrade the tank. What about when your health is running out and you don't happen to have any medical supplies? Better go pick some plants that help you survive. To me, the author reads as, I want easy survival mechanics. Arriving to the Drifter camp introduces one of way too many ambush camps. A camp leader can potentially give you this objective, or you can find them by exploring the world, which is what I did most of the time. You do not have to be in the exact spot to discover it. Once you are within the general area that is fairly large, Deke will comment on it. A fireplace icon will then appear on your map. These camps are relatively easy. They vary in difficult as well as factions when you progress through the game. Early camps you will encounter melee enemies and ranged ones with junk and lower level tier weapons. The end-game camps will almost always have a heavy unit or two of them. These enemies will have higher tier weapons and a type of armor depending on the faction. A sniper may be at these camps as well, but the game is very forgiving of this by showing you its laser when the enemy takes aim. A handful of regular enemies will start wearing things like biker helmets in the later stages of the game, so you cannot one-shot them in the head. Once we've killed everyone, each camp contains an underground bunker and a spot for Deacon to sleep. Inside the bunker is a map to the surrounding area. Reading it removes a fog chunk from the map. Doing so reveals potential neuro upgrades, collectible locations, nests, etc. I like this gameplay loop. The camps only take a few minutes to complete and will earn you a steady supply of trust and credits, while giving me a dose of combat whenever I felt I needed it. With that being said, there are too many ambush camps, and I did find myself saying, really? Another one? If there were a handful of mechanics to tackle each camp differently and they needed to be completed in a different way, it wouldn't have been too bad. There are two options for all ambush camps. Stealth your way through. Most of the time I got my Skyrim stealth archer on with my crossbow. A handful of camps in the later stages of the game, I ran up in there like I was Rambo blasting everyone. The residue bolt is also good here. Sometimes I would make them kill each other. I personally would have taken away 20% of the ambush camps. That probably would have gotten rid of the repetition. I unlocked my first skill upgrade during this mission. Actually, I had a few at this point. I don't know how I didn't notice them beforehand. In Days Gone, there are 3 skill trees. Starting with the weakest, we have melee combat. No matter what weapon I used, I never found melee to be useful. Through exploring and completing objectives, I found melee weapons ranging from just okay to best in slot. When I finished the game, I was level 44 and had every single upgrade except one. I only consider 2 skills worth it from the melee tree: lightning reflexes, ability to roll quickly to recover from a knockdown, and just roll with it drastically reduces stamina costs from rolling. I hate percentage values are not shown. There are 2 other ones that kinda stand out, but I didn't get much value from them. Field repairs allows melee weapons to be repaired with scrap, and juice up improves the initial recovery and duration of a stamina cocktail. I could care less about field repairs because melee weapons are useless. This is after I did a segment of the game just testing melee only, even using scrap nonstop. I also didn't run out of scrap, and I only used the cocktails a handful of times when fighting hordes. I would have made ammunition scarcer, especially in the early game. I would change how much ammo comes from looting corpses, as well as taking away more ammo found in police trunks. Not every car should have ammo, and it's been 2 years since the outbreak. Most of these cars would have been looted by now. I would also have multiple vendors sell different tiered melee weapons. One of them has a tier 4 weapon, the other has a tier 5. Range combat would be in second place for me. Head rush is a perk that stands out the most. Headshot kills recover health, again, why no percentage values. 2 bullets, 1 bullet, increases projectile penetration of all ranged weapons. Line those hordes up and stack multi-kills. Most of the perks are useful, with some being niche, only being used in specific situations, such as Vicious Cycle. Ability to follow up a melee attack with a ranged attack for massive damage. Would be nice if melee was more useful in the game. This is another thing I can agree with from critics. Like I said, I think the biggest issue with melee weapons and just the melee tree overall is the moment you start the game, it's throwing ammo at you non-stop from multiple different sources. Survival skills was the first tree I maxed out. The upgrades will help you gain trust more because now you can gather more meat from animals. There isn't a specific number to this like plants. Green thumb doubles the number of plants you get. The jump from 1 plant to 2 is not all that much, but it does help. Naturally, I thought I would get 2 to 3 pieces of meat from killed animals. I was happily wrong about that. With the butcher upgrade, I was getting 3 to 5 and rarely 6 pieces of meat from all animals. I have no idea what determines the amount of meat gathered. I've gathered 3 pieces from a bear, and I've gathered 5 pieces from a wolf. There were 3 wolves chasing a deer, and after I killed them, I had 15 pieces of meat to turn into a camp's kitchen, just from 3 wolves. Given the fact that wolves and deer are everywhere, sometimes deer are in packs of 5, things start to add up pretty quick. Inventory space is increased from this tree as well. Seeing the outline of enemies is from this tree, so you no longer need to mark enemies with binoculars like this is Far Cry 3. More stamina recovery, so much more. Scrap used to repair our bike is also greatly reduced from this as well. I absolutely loved using the crossbow in this game. It's probably my top 3 weapons. 3 upgrades from this skill tree made it much easier for me to maintain my bolts through having a chance to pick them up after use, gathering extra and holding more material too, paired with knocked up that significantly increased the crossbow's damage from the ranged skill tree. Looping back to the new places for Deacon to sleep, briefly I want to say that the day and night cycle in this game is pointless. Nighttime makes freakers stronger, daytime gives more of them but at a weaker state. The cycle would be more impactful if we had a sleep meter. Day and night only matter for story missions. Sometimes I would start one during the day and the game would force it to nighttime before things got started. This was a really wasted opportunity. Also, during the nighttime, I found that I did not need the headlight on. In fact, I found it blinding in some areas. The game isn't truly at night when it looks like this when I'm driving around. I will say that when it's raining, it does make a noticeable difference, and I did run into quite a few things. Side note, outside of Copeland's radio broadcasts that last a minute or so, there are no radio stations at all. Why? I could get over this if the ambiance music played, like, at all. In my experience, I hardly ever heard it, only pure silence or the sound of my motorcycle. Red Dead has something similar, but its background music and ambiance played often, so I really didn't notice the pure silence much. Anywho, it's just a bunch of basic conspiracies and anti-government slop that everyone has said or heard at this point. Nothing that would really ruffle anyone's feathers. A cutscene plays after the ambush. A woman sneaks up on us, but she is out of ammo and Deacon knows. However, he has a rule of not shooting women unless he has to. I don't like this because the game presents the world as unforgiving and just about everyone has done horrific things to survive. I just feel that there are so many chances someone could let someone go only for it to come back and haunt them. The game plays it safe in making the woman a part of the Drifter faction. But the thing is, a lot of the hostage situations are drifters doing it just for the love of the game. Deacon is a drifter, and this woman is a drifter. I think it's safe to assume she's like Deacon in a sense. I think it would also be safe to say this woman here has committed her fair share of murder and whatnot. I cannot help but wonder what Deacon's response would have been if this woman was a ripper or a cannibal. Would he turn a blind eye to someone a part of the faction who just mutilated Boozer's arm because she has her hands up and she's out of ammo? Would he turn his back on the woman who is willing to kill and eat more people? His rule was pointless because this specific situation only happens again later into the game, but the woman it does happen to is either going to die by freakers or Deke can end her suffering. After completing the ambush camp, we return to check on Boozer and give him the bandages we found from the Nero checkpoint. This updates He's My Brother questline, one of many side stories that will sometimes tie into the main story. Some of them last for a handful of missions, while some like this last the entire game. I feel like this is where the disconnect happens with the main story of Days Gone. A lot of these side stories do not need to be completed. Some of them can be outright ignored after the initial mission. Most of them, if not all, are not mandatory. There is a mission that involves a teenager or young adult. The game is not clear on her age. You will not see how that plays out unless you complete it, which, yes, I know that's very obvious. It's important you remember this because Eurogamer criticized this specifically. More on this side mission and others as I get to different sections of the game. Shortly after completing the ambush camp and giving the bandages to Boozer, I began exploring, taking in the world Days Gone has to offer. At this point, I am 2 hours, 50 minutes, and 57 seconds into my run when I stumbled across my first horde. Now, why did I mention the exact time? It's simple. A lot of people complain that hordes did not show up until late game. These are from critics and Redditors alike. I want to bring up again the article from Digital Trends. Quote, "Taking down hordes, which have been shown in trailers, isn't fun. You have to alternate between shooting, throwing explosives, and running away from the pack. Or you can find a high vantage point where they sometimes can't reach you. Downing hordes is all about having enough and the right type of firepower, not skill or technique." End quote. I'm not sure what else you could possibly expect from hordes. If we look at COD zombies, well, the older, better ones, you alternate between shooting the zombies with regular or pack-a-punch weapons, throw explosives, and running away. You can listen to some of the best music ever recorded and do the Easter egg. World at War zombies, Black Ops 1 zombies, Black Ops 2 zombies. Everybody loved them. They were amazing. That's literally the point of hordes. Sometimes there's features like destroying or maintaining an objective, but that's about it. Hordes are meant to be fun and not necessarily a test of skill. In the early to mid game, I would in fact argue hordes do take some skill because not only do you not have player upgrades, you lack better weapon tiers and ammunition. I can agree that some horrors are easier than others because they do vary in size, but the argument still stands. I will say there is something that I do agree with this reviewer in regards to hordes and their lack of use outside of a few story missions. With that being said, there are 40 freaker horrors in this game. I cannot fathom how the critic for Times only found 3 in their 40-hour playtime. With simple exploration, I found plenty of them. In fact, they found me a handful of times. This is further proof of these people not exploring pretty much anything in the world. I didn't even go out of my way to find them because horde locations are not revealed until the end of the game right before you finish the main story, indicated by these red symbols on the map. I felt that hordes served for 2 reasons. One, because there was pretty much no other zombie type-esque game doing this outside of Left 4 Dead. And 2, in my opinion, hordes were meant to be a spur-of-the-moment kind of things. Hordes move in their designated area, so it would be hard to predict where they will be. Kinda like, hey, here's a bunch of freakers, don't die. Moreover, in regards to them being boring, there are a couple mechanics to fighting hordes, albeit minor ones. Often when you are near a horde, there will be a lot of resources around, breaks and fences or things like that, so you can easily duck into when you're surrounded by freakers. My favorite is when you lead a horde to a choke point where you can create a blockade. This funnels them into a line, making them much more easier to kill until they climb over it. I will say that my biggest complaint with the hordes is that they are tethered to a specific location, meaning if you go far enough, you can stand slightly outside of that threshold and pick them off, or they'll just outright teleport away from you. Now, I can somewhat understand this, considering I doubt the devs wanted us to lead hordes to main camps, but still, something better implemented could have fixed this. From my perspective, I found hordes to be very fun, especially when I accidentally found them. If I had knowledge the horde was there because I had previously died to them, it gave me the opportunity to better prepare, setting up bombs, traps, planning routes, and parking my bike somewhere I could get to quickly when I eventually ran out of ammo for some hordes. The best sidearm in the game is earned from wiping out hordes. You don't need to destroy all of them, you only need to complete 4. On one hand, I'm not trying to call this reviewer, this critic, gaming journalist, a liar, but on the other hand, there is 40 hordes in this game surrounding the entire map. They are placed everywhere, and you only found 3? Before I end this segment, I want to say that the same person from Digital Trends complained about not being able to sneak kill hordes or get the drop on them. So here's a stealth-only sawmill horde video with over 3 million views from 7 years ago when the game first came out. The video did come out after the person wrote their review, but if they would have played the game, earned the upgrades, they could have done the same thing. Anyone can replicate this. Clearly, they were in the right when they docked points from the game's poor stealth. Local drifters rode into Copeland's camp shooting up the place. A bounty is placed on one of them with the player having no say in how they want to complete it. This is another side story just like ambush camps. We are given 2 options and taking the target in alive or dead, but we actually don't get to decide for ourselves, everything is predetermined. In order to bring the target back in alive, we must chase them on our motorcycle while trying to destroy theirs. This is done by shooting or ramming into them. These people get flung off their bike as it explodes, and somehow they are still alive. Please explain that one to me. After that, we'll tie them up and radio whoever placed the bounty to come pick them up. The other option is a shootout where we kill everyone. No chance to bring them back alive. There are 15 bounties in total. Now, on paper that isn't much, but when it's the same 2 things each time, it gets repetitive quick. Completing this bounty for Cope also unlocks a new custom decal. During the mission to retrieve the drugs Leon stole, a Neuro helicopter is spotted flying over the cemetery. This starts one of many mandatory stealth missions in which we sneak past Neuro soldiers to eavesdrop on one of the researchers. To do this, Deacon will throw rocks to distract the armed guards while sneaking through conveniently placed grass. These Neuro missions will either see Deke eavesdrop only and/or place a listening device on the helicopter. The researcher mentions O'Brien, another researcher specifically from the beginning cutscene, who was going to a separate location the next day. Lieutenant O'Brien had motion sensors placed in caves to track the number of freakers in various horde locations. This one in particular counted 400. These are also not just run-of-the-mill freakers either. They have entered something called Stage 3. All this time, Deacon thought O'Brien died at the refugee camp. That was the location he and Sarah fled to. So I guess the big question is, what happened to Sarah then? Further eavesdropping on Lieutenant Booth as she continues that the freakers are not sleeping in these caves, just hibernating. Now that we have the drugs, the player is presented with 2 options: return them to the original owner or hand them over to Copeland for a large boost in trust. I chose to return them back to Tucker, and I honestly regret that. Tucker runs a labor camp. Throughout the story, many other characters mention that she basically runs a slave labor camp, often cited as being cruel. Now, in a sense, I do see that because her rule is pretty much no matter who you are, if you want a bed to sleep and a meal to eat, you must work for it. That's fair. Unfortunately, this is followed by routine beatings from her guards the workers receive if they aren't doing enough work. Also, no one is allowed to leave. Before the outbreak, Ada Tucker worked as a correctional officer and the head of the female ward at a penitentiary. Her husband had been battling an illness which would eventually lead him to take his own life prior to the outbreak, something he promised Ada that he would never do. In a cutscene with Tucker, she tells Deke that throughout her career she was constantly tested and prodded for any signs of weakness. She worked her way up as matron of the female ward before retiring, and I find that it does make sense she would end up with a strong distrust in people, only keeping a small list of those she can trust with most of the names now crossed out. I'm not here to justify her actions, but I can see what led to her becoming who she is. I will say that I really respect the writers for not giving us an option to drastically change Tucker or make her see the error of her ways. Some people are just how they are no matter how much we try. Her second-in-command, Alkai, is distrustful towards us, believing we might know something about the large group of Rippers that was recently spotted. During a ride with Tucker, she points out the camp is run like a prison, filled with thieves, liars, rapists, and murderers who are all lazy. This is coming from recently discovered stolen food and ammo. She also has a job for us. A young woman was spotted during a supply run, and Tucker wants us to bring her back to the camp. Her motto is, "We bring her warm bodies. She gives us all the credits we can spend." The final part to the Chasing Leon storyline is going back to burn Alvarez's corpse. I find that to be the least we can do, and also interesting how freakers somehow did not find her body. After that, we start a new storyline that involves us periodically visiting Sarah's memorial stone. Sometimes this will lead to flashbacks when Deacon first met her and other memories involving her. The way Days Gone plays out with its multiple storylines that sometimes span the entire game makes the structure of this video very difficult. Sometimes I can't talk about specific things because it'll wrap into another or show other characters that wouldn't make sense to be talked about right now. Something like ambush camp storylines isn't all that important, but I will try my best to keep things as structured as possible. Probably should have said all this before, but it didn't dawn on me until now.
Steve, I'm gonna tell you something.
Hey, it's okay. It's just my arm.
You told me that we shouldn't come back, and I didn't listen to you, and then I knew that it was getting worse, but
None of us knew it was gonna blow up like this fast.
You don't understand. I don't know what I would do if I lost you. This is my fault.
Hey, no one's losing anyone. I made a promise. Remember?
Deacon, wait!
Sarah, come on.
There's a kid here. Hey. Hey, are you okay? Come on, we gotta find your parents, okay?
We really gotta go.
Come on. Stabbed me.
Oh, yeah. Where is it?
I don't think it's that bad.
Okay, look. Just hold this here as tight as you can. Can you run?
I don't think so. I think I can walk.
Okay, good enough. Almost there. 2 hours ago, this place was calling the feds.
Yeah, they must have evacuated.
Yeah, they must have bugged the hell out of me. Yeah, she's burning up. The knife must have nicked her kidney or something. She's turning septic. How you doing, little sister?
It was so stupid. It was this little kid. This goddamn little kid.
With the big goddamn knife.
Hey, help me.
Shit.
Hey, Mom. You don't want to be here when they come through?
We gotta get to the roof. Flag down one of those choppers.
All right. Here, see if you can rest over here.
Hey, easy.
She reminded me so much of my little sister, you know? Because we used to play that hide and seek game all the time. And she would just hide her head in her coat just like that.
I've been cut my name, but nothing like that.
She's burning up.
Jesus. Look at him.
We gotta move.
We ain't going that way.
Come on.
All right.
Hey, sweetheart, can you move? Who's her?
Yeah, I got her. Go find us a way out.
Just get out! You killed her!
Okay, everyone hold on. Easy. What are you thinking? Okay. You get his attention. I'm gonna try to sneak around behind him, okay?
It's nothing. Go. I got this. Go.
Hold on, don't shoot. Just
Fuck you!
yeah, we see you got guns, goddammit. Stop shooting.
Sir? Hey! I'm unarmed.
Get out!
Now listen to me. My girl's out there. She's been stabbed. We're just trying to get to the roof.
Get out of
There's a
here!
helicopter.
You
waiting.
killed her!
So listen.
You killed my wife!
Oh, no. Look, I didn't know anything about your wife being killed. I am sorry, sir. No, sir. We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. Listen, just
killed
give me the gun.
my wife! You killed her! Stop!
Oh, Jesus.
I really like the voice acting here. A common complaint I read from journalists was that the voice actor for Deacon, Sam Witwer, overacted. Maybe they don't know that not only is he a voice actor, but he has been in plenty of live action shows. I highly recommend you check out a show called Being Human. It's a show about a vampire, werewolf, and ghost being roommates. The vampire is trying to control himself to no longer feed on people. The werewolf wants to stop his transformations, and the ghost wants to know how she ended up like this. I never once felt Sam Witwer overacted or anything else like that. Moreover, look at his work as Starkiller. Everybody loves Starkiller, including myself. It's a shame Disney completely ruined Star Wars. Darth Maul received a lot more love because of Witwer's portrayal of not only him, but also voicing Palpatine as well. Deacon talks to himself non-stop in this game. That was also hated on, but I love it. As far as I know, there isn't any other video game protagonist that does this. Usually they will give a brief overview of what's just happening or what will happen, something along those lines. This is so well done because not only does it depict Deacon's rapid mental health decline, but also giving a realistic description of what most of us would be like 2 years into a virus outbreak like this. Speaking for myself, my mental health is already garbage, plus I actually do often have full conversations with myself and respond, "Thank you bipolar and ADHD, how very cash money of you." Anywho, I think this makes Deacon more relatable and grounded in his environment. There really isn't much hope left, nor many friendly people to talk to outside of Boozer. Anyone or anything could kill you at any moment, the list goes on. Another neuro helicopter is spotted. This time the soldiers shoot when we get close. This causes us to fall from our motorcycle but immediately get back up, giving chase. When we catch up, they are attempting to capture a newt after tranquilizing it. It didn't work, forcing them to evacuate when a horde of freakers became alerted. As Neuro departs, the horde goes with him, minus a few stragglers. I really wish that this would have been a forced sequence where we actually had to fight this horde. After dispatching the stragglers left behind, we see a radio. A newt is first to grab it, but a simple chase down later and we get it. This segues into another flashback when Deacon first met Sarah.
So I'm sort of lost. I was hoping you could help me out.
I'm sorry, you're lost?
Yeah, I'm looking for the old Belknap Road, and there's not a lot of signs around here.
Oh, come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Nope.
What? What is it? What? Oh, that's great. That is just perfect. That is great. That is great.
So about those directions?
I'm really sorry. I don't know where Belknap,
Belknap?
Belknap, that's the one. And I don't know where it is. I really can't help you. I'm sorry.
So no, then?
Nope.
Okay. Well, thanks anyway.
Hey! All right.
Could you use a ride?
Yes, I could. Thank you for finally offering. I'm Sarah.
I'm Deacon.
Oh, well, sorry about the mess. I don't, how do I, this contraption?
Pretty much what you think. You just throw your leg over, yeah.
Okay, step on there. Whoa. Okay. Ready. Hey! Hey!
Hold on tight.
So, Deacon's behavior during this scene when he asks for directions from Sarah when he's trying to flirt and be all cool blah 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 with her is aggressive, said by the critic from Eurogamer. Since I am clearly not a woman, I hope one of you watching this are. Is his behavior in fact aggressive? I personally took it as someone trying to break the ice in this situation. The writer from Eurogamer goes on to write that no woman would ever, if a woman would, in fact ever, she would then proceed to fling herself off Deacon's bike as soon as the words, "So what's a nice lady like you doing in a place like this?" leaves his mouth. End quote. This is not a sarcastic question either. I'm genuinely curious as someone who does not talk to women because I'm weird and mentally ill, and they scare me. I mean, the last part makes sense. I feel like most women wouldn't do that, but this is a love story made up for a video game in a world of people who eat people regardless if they're freakers or not. Sarah gives a bit of exposition dump why she is there in the first place. It's for her new job at a bioengineering firm. Sarah is a botanist and her responsibility is to study and gather plants, specifically the rare ones that only grow in this area. Really on the nose with this one, huh? You're Safe Now is a storyline introduced early in Days Gone that triggers when we arrive to the location of the recently spotted woman Tucker wants at her camp.
Don't be afraid. I'm not gonna hurt you. Are you alone? Is there anyone else with you? Oh, man. Okay, Is this your room? It's really great. Are these yours?
No!
Lisa?
That's mine. This one's for gymnastics. I should have won first place, but Missy King, she cheated.
Lisa, you hear the gunshots outside? It's not safe here.
I was at school. And my mom called me and told me to come home right away and not stop, and they would be here waiting for me and we would leave together and...
For the last 2 years, she's been living out here on her own. We tell her about Tucker's camp, to which Lisa believes her mother is there despite whatever we tried to say. Rippers show up, so we escort Lisa to safety, killing any in our way. Lisa's storyline lasts the entire game. I'll give my thoughts on her ending at the end of this video when I'm wrapping things up. I do want to talk about the missions related to her though. There are 10 that involve Lisa, a handful of cutscenes that show her, and 5 missions with her specifically in them. The last 2 I'll save for later. We have the first mission where we meet her, and then when we go to save her, that immediately segues into the second mission. The third is bringing her a Thunder Egg as a gift to cheer her up. There is an important cutscene when we find out she ran away from Tucker's camp because of the forced labor. Searching for Lisa reveals Rippers took her and are now trying to convert her into worshipping the Freakers. Deacon saves her, but not before she is tortured and her face is gashed up. Instead of taking her back to Hot Springs with Tucker, we radio and ask Ricky, a character we will meet later, to take her in. Deacon then lies to Tucker that Lisa died. Another important thing I want you to keep in the back of your mind is the things Deacon did for Lisa. It will come up later. While I'm on the subject of Tucker, there was a Protecting the Weak mission that really annoyed me. Protecting the Weak is a questline that is all about saving people. Person X was out doing Y and got captured by person whatever letter. To put it simply, go to the marked location, kill whatever faction, save one of the good guys, the quest is over. The first few missions are fine, but this too lasts the entire game and does get repetitive. During one of those missions, we meet a woman named Rose. In a sense, Rose does not matter at all, and I'll tell you why. Rose and Alkai were sent on a supply run. She took this opportunity to escape from the camp while his back was turned. Tucker had been withholding food from her because she wasn't working hard enough. While on the run, Rose was captured by marauders who tied her at the top of a radio tower. It's unclear what their intent was, but considering they execute people for sport, it's safe to say they probably had ill intentions. When she is speaking with Deacon after he saves her, she tells him she would rather die out here than go back. Without hesitation, he does let her go, and he does lie to Tucker that he sent Rose on her way back saying she told him she knew the way. Hinting at Tucker, who is now upset, is there some reason she wouldn't want to go back to camp in the first place? I like that this stops Tucker dead in her tracks. Tucker tries to say, "Oh, she's just a kid. She doesn't have a clue what's out there. Okay, here's the thing. That's a massive facade. Why is that a massive facade? If she actually cared about Rose, her initial request in us to rescue her would have been because she was concerned for her well-being. Tucker just wants her forced laborer back. The reason this mission annoyed me so much was because not only will we never see Rose again, we do not see 90% of the people we've rescued. I am not talking about or expecting to have an interaction with World Event Hostage number 23, but there are 10 Protecting the Weak missions, and not even one of them can be seen or interacted with outside of saving them. Checking up on our buddy Boozman sees him not looking all too well. He's visibly sweating, unable to maintain balance, and he has a massive headache. Being the tough guy he is and not wanting to be a burden to Deke, he plays it off like we can't tell he's in tremendous amounts of pain. Cue flashback with Sarah. She is teaching us about flowers. This one in particular is lavender, known for its healing properties. So we rush to various ponds to gather some for Boozer to no avail because within a few days he is now going insane in the membrane.
Oh, they're coming. They're coming. Oh, they're gonna... They won't know. I mean, they're on me.
Oh, shit, Boozer, what's going on?
No! How'd you get in here?
Whoa.
You stay right there!
Boozer, it's me.
Stay there.
It's Deke. Let's just
Don't
calm
you come
down.
any closer.
Let's just
I will
talk.
kill you.
It's all right.
Come on, give me the gun. Give me the gun, bud. No, I will not! Oh, shit. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Camp Lost Lake is now introduced as we rush to save Boozer from his blood poisoning. Ricky is a part of this camp and she is a really well-written character. Unfortunately, we cannot just waltz up in there since Deacon and Boozer were previously banned from the camp leader Iron Mike. Iron Mike has a philosophy of wanting to bring back how things used to be in terms of putting more trust in others to build up a community and upholding old lawful traditions like fair trials instead of simply killing those you have a disagreement with. The boys used to do jobs for the camp until Iron Mike learned of Deacon sending survivors to Tucker. It didn't help that he was already upset with Deke's solve things with force attitude. One day, an argument that escalated badly between the boys and Iron Mike led to him banning them with a warning to never show up again. Because of that, we are now forced to sneak into his camp to steal antibiotics from the camp doctor Addie, who is actually a veterinarian. This is another stealth mission, toss rocks to distract someone while sneaking through the tall grass. I don't entirely hate stealthing around in this game, but I wish we were not forced to go a certain path. In this mission, we cannot sneak around buildings or anything else like that. Being forced on a set path creates a fake sense of danger. For the neuro stuff, it makes sense, not so much for simple objectives like make it to building X. Addie and Ricky do catch us. At this point, I had unlocked the sidearm from Hordes I mentioned earlier. There was also a suppressor on it. Seeing it in this cutscene was kinda funny. Ricky is under the impression we are stealing narcotics for Tucker until Addie reveals it's meds for Boozer. Deacon explains what's going on and the pair agree to help him. During this scene, I like that Deacon takes responsibility for what he's doing. Based on things that other characters have said, I feel like in the past he would have had a more brash tone and make them feel guilty for not wanting to help Boozer. Together with Ricky, we ride out to get Boozer from the safe location we left him at. At this point, he looks absolutely terrible. At first, he doesn't even recognize her even though they rode together last year. We had good intentions stealing the antibiotics, but Ricky does point out that it's still not right, which I absolutely agree with. Yeah, Boozer is important to us, but I would argue that multiple people at Lost Lake have someone important to them. Ricky tells Deacon he should have asked, and while yes, there is fear of what Iron Mike would do, we still have a direct line to Ricky when we radio her originally asking for help with Lisa. While Boozer is getting patched up, Ricky talks to us about the ongoing Ripper problem while she leads us to Iron Mike. Schizo, Iron Mike's second in command, doesn't want Boozer at the camp at all, calling him a cripple who cannot pull his own weight. Iron Mike talks with us about the camp having problems growing crops and whatnot. When the conversation is over, he tells us to leave him be, he's got some thinking to do. We respond to radio us if anything is needed. Ever since we picked up that radio Neuro left behind, we have been speaking directly to O'Brien, wanting to meet up with him. Now we have a chance to meet in person, and we approach him when he's in the middle of doing research to ask about Sarah. He agrees to do some digging around if we agree to place recorders and GPS trackers on Neuro helicopters. O'Brien is suspicious of the higher-ups who have been sending multiple research teams out on a lot of field missions all separate from each other. Throughout the rest of the game, we receive coordinates from him, sneak to the places, and plant the devices. In the meantime, we do odd jobs for Lost Lake like bounty hunting, there's a mission to get a better grade knife for Addie, clearing out nests and hordes. There's a mission I do want to point out that is absolutely stupid in this game. So after you've gotten a handful of hours in Days Gone, you know what to do, you know the hunting, you know this, that, and the third. Copeland, for some reason, takes us out on a mission to go hunting, to teach us hunting and how to track, as if we don't know how to do it for the thing that we have been doing all game. I've turned in so much food gathered from deers and wolves who are trying to freaking eat me all the time. Have you not seen this? And you're going to pretend you're my daddy teaching me how to hunt. I know what to do. So during all this, Lisa also ran away from Lost Lake, and I cannot say that I blame her. She has been on her own for 2 years. Keep in mind she is just a kid. God only knows what she has seen during that time. A strong distrust for people is already there. Then she is exploited for hard labor or starves to death. Rippers snatch her up and torture her, literally carving RIP on her forehead. To say she is traumatized and has zero trust in people is an understatement, which is why she left a note for Deacon that says, "I just want to forget." This mission to track her down is the 5th and last mission that directly involves saving or searching for Lisa. The rest are cutscenes. Lisa's story does expand the full length of the game, but Lisa is not in most of the game. She shows up at very appropriate times to give a sense of, "Oh yeah, I remember you, hope you are doing better." Now, the way that I presented her may seem like she's in the game most of the time, but I just mashed all of her missions together, minus 2 important things at the end of the game. I honestly believe if she were in the story more, Days Gone would have felt like a carbon copy of The Last of Us. Yet another thing I want you to keep in mind: keep Lisa tucked away in your beautiful mind, because it's on the test and you better be ready. Schizo has a job for us in gathering medical supplies from a crashed plane. This plane was hauling supplies for the Red Cross. It was a controlled crash, and still somehow the supplies are in perfect condition. Bit of a reach, but okay. The catch is, it's in Ripper's territory. Schizo never tried to recover it himself because Iron Mike has a peace treaty with the leader of the Rippers, Carlos. Part of that treaty is staying out of their lands and certainly not killing a group of them that was impeding my progress in this mission. I do not feel bad. The mission isn't all that difficult. At this point, I had a lot of upgrades and may have been over-leveled. It became apparent that this point of the game was becoming way too easy. The logical response is to increase the difficulty. However, for some unknown reasons, the devs made it so you cannot increase the difficulty, only lower it. I played on normal difficulty with the intent to increase it as I level up. That's what I do with every game. After I beat the game, I immediately started New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty. And while the challenge was not particularly hard, I did find a lot more mechanics used. During the mission at the beginning of the game, when Deacon takes point during that dark tunnel, those cars have a lot more alarms to them. I set off 3 of them, and any freaker can set them off as well if they hit it. For reference, there were a total of 3 car alarms I found in my entire playthrough on normal difficulty. That's with me doing a lot of exploration. I also found out the hard way that newts are used in more ways than one. These few changes I experienced in my short time on the hardest difficulty should have occurred a lot more for the normal difficulty. A newt hiding in the trunk of a car was something entirely new to me. I didn't do a full playthrough on this setting, otherwise that would have been another 60 hours. Before we take the medical supplies, a breaker makes itself known. These are swole, mutated freakers who have super strength and a lot more health, even the ones outside of this boss fight. More mutated freakers, each with their respective abilities, will be shown throughout the game. Arriving back to Schizo sees him somewhat upset. We do not have more supplies, but most of them were taken. Why would someone only leave 1 container behind is very confusing to me. Ricky shows up to let us know Addie needs our assistance because Booze Man is getting his arm cut off. I applaud the writer, John Garvin, for not killing off Boozer. The moment he was burned, I was like, this is going to get infected. We will attempt to save him. Boozer can't be saved. He'll die around the halfway point of the game, causing Deacon to give up until he's presented with something or someone, Lisa, to help him through this emotional hurdle. I am glad to say I was wrong. It would have been too cliche, and I will say that not all cliches are bad, I just thought this one would have been too on the nose. After the successful arm chopping, Boozer gets depressed. At this point, he has been working at Lost Lakes Farm. When talking with him as the game plays out, it felt that he was increasingly disassociating, just coasting through the days on autopilot. I just knew there was going to be a save Boozer at the last minute, but we didn't make it there in time moment. And while this does happen, Boozer gets drunk and wanders around until we track him down to bring him home safely. He isn't killed off from this injury or effects it has on his mental health. I love the mission to cheer him up, even though it's a bit of a no way this can happen kind of thing. Shortly after Boozer has made a full recovery, we go searching for a dog in hopes of cheering him up, suggested by Addie. Look at that little dog. This is my dog, Winston. I am ready to die for our newly found furry friend. Boozer names him Jack after the MC's president, who would hate knowing that a dog is named after him. Also, we can bring Jack toys found when exploring. Progressing Boozer's storyline far enough rewards us with his shotgun, the one used at the beginning of the game to clear the tunnel. It's okay. Deacon approaches Iron Mike with a plan to cut the ever-growing number of freakers in the area. To start this, we lead him to a horde we stealthily follow. Not Mike though, for whatever reason he kept aggroing the horde, making me do this 3 times. Thank you very much. Deke has the idea to blow up the caves the freakers hibernate in and using the rubble to trap them in until they starve to death. It may only stop 100 or so of them, but the bigger picture is that no more freakers will find a place to stay, thus making them migrate to someplace else. Mike knows a location where we can get dynamite, the old federal building at Sherman's camp. Deacon is surprised by this because Mike told him he would never step foot in that place again one night when he was drunk. Before the outbreak, Mike worked as a park ranger and enjoyed a quiet life with his wife, who would eventually pass away before the freakers showed up. He also knew Jack, the president of the Mongrels, way before Deacon and Boozer joined. Early into the virus being spread worldwide, Mike lived at Sherman's camp. The population would split into 2 factions fighting over supplies. On the belief both sides were out of ammunition, a meeting was set to arrange some kind of ceasefire. One side showed up with ammo, one side was massacred, leaving Iron Mike and someone else as the only survivors. With all this, Mike would still form a policy of what I believe to be hope, building a community-focused camp, resolving conflicts peacefully to avoid unnecessary killing, and share work and resources fairly. Making our way through the building, we find a map that reveals every mine in the county and showing where the dynamite was stored. Marauders then show up to kill us. As I am writing this, I don't think the Marauders really serve any purpose or meaning to the story. They are simply a faction used as fodder. Ricky now has a job for us in bringing power back to Lost Lake. She notes that she is tired of taking cold showers. The place has not had power for almost 2 years. She wants us to go with her to the hydro dam just to see why it's shut down. Ricky basically has a master's degree in engineering. She was inspired from seeing her father repair vehicles when she was just a kid. When she was 17, her father got her a job at an aerospace company while she simultaneously was going to college for mechanical engineering. Yeah, Ricky got big brain. While she was away at college, the outbreak happened. By the time she returned home, everyone was gone and presumed dead. She tried to search at a nearby refugee camp, but it was overran and everyone was killed. This was my favorite mission in Days Gone, simply for this shot of Ricky's bare feet. Let's go! Jokes aside, I love the back and forth between her and Deacon. He shows sympathy for what happened to her family, and while Ricky has accepted and moved on that she'll most likely never see her family again, Deacon has not. Ricky explains why she quit riding with him and Boozer. One night, Ricky noticed that Deacon was sitting outside by himself like he normally did, except this time he was staring at something and didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Now she wants him to finally show her the picture of Sarah. As Ricky puts it, this is when she knew she did not want to end up like so many of them, trapped in the past or running from it. I find this to be such a great call out of Deacon's past and still somewhat present behavior. In a lot of games, you find that the protagonist is called out by the antagonist, usually save for when they have been defeated at the end of the game, or maybe they kill someone important to the main character, or do something catastrophic that will push the main character in a certain direction. Ricky, on the other hand, has been kind to Deacon, helping him with not only Lisa, but Boozer as well. She serves as a perfect example of someone who's just as messed up but keeps pushing forward. At this stage of the game, Deacon pushes for the sake of Sarah and Boozer. However, in this mission, we can see that Deacon is changing, becoming more receptive and helpful towards other people. A handful of freaker nests are burned down during this mission, so Deacon doesn't need to constantly come up here every month to clear them out. Ricky jokingly points out, "Oh, you're coming back?" This entire time he's been planning to go north with Boozer. Honestly, before this mission, Deacon is shown to be changing. He is going out of his way to seal off these caves when, as it stands, he's still leaving. It's important that Ricky calls him out because in cases like this, how could someone ever grow and stop living in the past? Not only that, but it calls out the dangers Deke has put others in, all in pursuit of Sarah, who may or may not be alive. Given the setting of this game, it's a long shot anyone would be alive. With power restored, we now must check the transformers to make sure they are all good. This mission, for whatever reason, is not started now, it's saved for the next day. This mission is a protect person while person does task. Ricky fixes a few transformers while we are protecting her from newts. Returning back to camp sees Addie upset and concerned that Ricky did not inform her she was leaving. Ricky doesn't care because she does not consider things between them all that serious. But before we power the generator at Lost Lake, first we have a mine to get through with Schizo. I do not like Schizo, in a good way. He is a phony at heart, pretending he was a gang member and a drug/gun runner before the outbreak. He acts tough, but is the first to get out of Dodge to save himself. I do not fault him for that. It's easy for anyone to say what heroic thing they would do in a situation that will most likely never happen. This character does find himself in these situations, and I would say that it's safe to say a fair amount of people would prioritize themselves as well. Not me though. I am going out, saving a lot of people to epic background music until I find the perfect bleed out spot, something with a nice sunset. A mine was in preparation to be expanded, meaning there is definitely dynamite inside. Together with Schizo, we follow the tunnels, leaving flares behind to guide us back. The first crate found is empty, and when we return to go to a different section of the mine, the flares have been moved. Schizo begins to panic, shouting who's there. We stop him from yelling with a warning to not wake up the horde. Certainly do not discharge around in here. Oh, and he did it anyways, because a newt surprised attacked him and took off with the mine keys. We find another crate of dynamite, this time it's filled. Schizo held a flare too close to it, by the way, in the cutscene. That seems safe. Marauders again show up to kill us. Just why? I do not like they are thrown at us just to say we had some combat in a mission. Before returning to Lost Lake, Schizo tries to convince us we should run the camp after Mike retires. He has a lot of friends on the camp's council and most of them say the old man's gotta go. Okay, what council? Because the only other people that matter here are Addie and Ricky. O'Brien radios us that he has information about Sarah and to meet him after we place another tracker for him. This time Boozer is coming along. He hangs back as we sneak to attach the device to the helicopter. Neuro records show that Sarah Whitaker was admitted to the Camp MASH unit on the salt flats outside of Silver Lake. She was in surgery for 6 hours from her stab wound, then moved to another camp. We see Deacon gleam with a faint beacon of hope until O'Brien tells him no.
I finally found a guy who was willing to do some digging through some files that they used to keep while they still kept records.
Okay, O'Brien.
Anyway, Sarah Whitaker, your wife, was admitted to the Camp MASH unit on the South Flats outside of Silver Lake. According to the records, she was in surgery for 6 hours and then was moved
Okay,
to...
she survived. The stab wound, she survived.
Yeah. According to the records, she made a full recovery. And then she was moved to another camp on the outskirts of Tumult.
So she could still be alive. Even after all this time, she could still be alive, you're saying?
No.
What do you mean, no?
It was overrun. Everything was overrun. There were no survivors.
You survived? They survived.
Look, there was nothing that would have protected that camp, okay? Highway 97 is an artery. Infected freaks poured up from LA, from the Bay Area, from Sacramento. There were thousands and thousands and thousands of them. There was nothing we could do.
I get it. So you bugged out. Who did you bring with you?
Nero personnel, some feds, people with clearance.
Nero personnel, the soldiers, the guys with the guns, the guys that should have been protecting the civilians.
There's nothing that you can do against a horde. They're too strong.
I know all about hordes.
Well, then you know that there was nothing that we could do.
Oh, you know what you could have done? You could have brought a few of them with you. You could have saved a few lives.
There was no hope, there was no time, there was no room, okay? We'd already turned on each other by the time the hordes arrived.
No, I get it.
Boozer got tired of waiting around for us and most likely wanted to let loose that pent-up anger of all that's happened to him, so he set off to kill some freakers. Instead, here is a rough scene that I'm glad wasn't scooted around.
Deke, over here!
Oh, Jesus, Boozer, what the hell?
I figured I'd do a little shopping while we were out, and I ran into a pack of rippers hunting dogs. Oh, easy, fella. He's not infected. He's just a dog. They're hunting down and killing healthy dogs.
No. It's okay.
No, we can't leave him here, Deke. We can't do it.
Here, let me do it.
Really? You can...
Okay, boy. Okay, easy, it's okay. All right, just do it.
Jesus, Deke.
God damn it. It's okay, that's it. All right.
It's okay, big guy.
Rest.
Rippers were going around killing things just for the sake of it, including dogs. When we catch up with Boozman, he's kneeling next to one that's been fatally injured. You can see and feel the pain Deacon goes through when he puts the dog out of its misery. This sets Boozer off, giving a boss health bar above him as he rushes down Rippers to kill them. I don't see this as just from the dog. I believe that was the boiling point. From the start of the game, Boozer has been sick leading up to losing his arm, losing his ability to ride his motorcycle. Not only has this had a tremendous impact on him, but combine that with having to leave Deke by himself. The harsh reality begins to hit Deacon like a ton of bricks, prompting him to go to the church he and Sarah got married in for one last goodbye. Here we get a flashback to them saying their vows with only Boozer in attendance. I read a complaint that it's cheesy and dumb. Sarah said, "Ride me like your bike." First of all, that's a part of biker culture. Secondly, it's a callback to her poking fun at Deacon to not say it because she knows it's cheesy. The journalist who complained about that would have known that if they played the game in its full. When the flashback is over, Deacon is lighting a Molotov and the church begins to burn. No rage-filled missions because Deacon is angry and this is the only way to deal with Sarah being gone. Deacon's acceptance and next chapter in life comes to fruition when that church burns his past he held on to for so long. All is not lost though. We finally got the power back at Lost Lake.
Now, a while ago, we had some more drifters right into camp. Some of you said kick them out. We ain't got enough for ourselves. Some of you said we can't trust them. Tonight is proof of what I've been saying all along.
Yeah.
We need everyone. I mean everyone who is willing to be here, who is willing to work, who is willing to help us rebuild.
Right on, man.
Yeah. Now, for the past couple of months, Ricky has been doing just that.
Good job.
She can't do it alone. She needs help. Tonight is gonna happen because we welcomed a drifter into our camp. And we allowed him to earn our trust. Tonight, we take one more step out of the darkness. Thank you.
Ricky pulls us aside to take us to Addie because we were slightly wounded when protecting Boozer. Addie, of course, isn't there, so Ricky does it herself, which leads her propositioning our sweet virgin body. Another thing I want to give the writer credit for is not making these two have sex. Some other games would see this as they've been going out together on missions, risking their lives for one another, opening up to each other. Now that Deacon has accepted his wife's death, let's bang. I did not see anything wrong with Deacon rejecting Ricky because, one, he does not want to be the reason she cheats on Addie. Oh, and the biggest reason is his wife just died. Well, in his eyes. I think the majority of us would not rush into something like that. A romance here would have been so ham-fisted, making me hate it. We are armed with enough dynamite to pretty much seal off all the freaker caves, except we don't have detonation cord to safely ignite it. Schizo knows where we can get some, and to do this we need to head back into Ripper territory. This time he wants to tag along. To get the cord, we need to gain access to a warehouse that's located where a Ripper gathering is. Here the Rippers take mass amounts of drugs and cut themselves while gathering around a large bonfire. During this mission is a gut-wrenching scene as we are sneaking past the Rippers.
Her legs are broken. She ain't going anywhere, bro. We gotta get a move on. Just do it.
Hey, sweetheart. Sweetheart? It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Shh. Shh. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's okay, sweetheart.
We gotta cut back this way.
What a terrible thing for someone to have to do, and for someone to go through that torture just to be left to be eaten. The moment I met Schizo and did missions with him, it became very obvious that he will betray us at some point. When I first started the mission to get the detonation cord, I knew it was going to happen here, especially since he wanted to come with us instead of being forced to like the mine mission by Iron Mike. I even put in my notes at the start of the mission, I bet Schizo teams up with Carlos and the Rippers. What I also put in my notes is that I was feeling on edge with Schizo. When is the betrayal coming? Not many games have made me feel that way. The betrayal happens after we get the detonation cord leaving the warehouse. He knocks us out, and when we come to, we see a familiar face.
Jesse, what the fuck?
I kept my name, and I kept my memories of how you and Boozer and Jersey Jim held me down. While Jack took a torch to my back.
Jesse, that was a long time ago. We didn't really...
Oh, yeah. I remember screaming, "It's okay." I also remember something else I learned that day, something important. Everything about you, everything that makes you who you are. Oh, it can be burned away. Until nothing remains but your name. That's what the freaks are, you know. I learned that too. That's why we need to be just like them.
Okay. If we're gonna do this, you're gonna talk me to death.
Oh, we are gonna do this. Deacon St. John. We're not gonna do this alone, though, are we? No, gonna do this without Boozer, are we? We gotta finish this together, the three of us. Oh, yeah. One down. And what? About a dozen to go. Maybe more. What are the odds? The three of us, you, me, Boozer, still alive, brought together here at the end of the world.
What the fuck have you done to Boozer?
Oh, he's not here yet. But he will be. Soon enough.
It is you. I saw them bring you in.
Lisa.
No. That's not my name. I'm on the path. I don't have a name anymore. None of us do. Everyone I ever cared about is dead.
Lisa. Listen to me.
Do you know why we want to be like them? Like the freaks?
No.
It's because they don't remember what they've lost. Who they've lost.
I did not see this coming. I never once thought Carlos could be someone from Deacon's past. Boozer is the only person I thought was going to be shown. The game does a good job setting this up because when the MC is mentioned, I didn't think, oh, I wonder if we'll run into another member. Nothing is revealed about Carlos, Jesse, outside of him being the leader of the Rippers and the treaty he has with Lost Lake. Jesse Williamson was a member of the Mongrels who was pushed around by Deke and Boozer. Jesse eventually was excommunicated from the club after he killed a fellow member over a drug dispute. The boys were ordered to hold him down while someone burned off the tattoo on his back via blowtorch. Jesse became Carlos, forming the Rippers after the outbreak, believing it was a good thing. He encouraged his followers to change their names because everyone lost who they once were. Deacon and Boozer have been wondering since the beginning of the game why Rippers won't leave them alone. Now they have their answer. On one hand, I find the Rippers very interesting and well written for the most part. However, that's not to say I don't have any issues with them. It's been 2 years since everything went to hell in a handbasket. Why are people choosing to follow this guy? I feel like it would have made more sense if the Rippers were formed like 10 or so years after what happened. They remind me of the trash people from The Walking Dead who only after a few years somehow lost the ability to talk. I stopped watching that show after the season folks were wearing zombies' faces, but still, in that moment, they were presented as survivors who couldn't speak, creating their own language. I thought maybe the drugs had an influence on someone joining the Rippers, but it's not like they're smoking the devil's grass. The Rippers mostly take hard drugs because they want to forget who they are and who they've lost. These guys are on hard drugs, literally impossible to be on hard drugs 24/7. PCP is one of the drugs mentioned. This drug is a highly fat soluble. As it binds to fat tissue in the brain and organs, it begins being slowly released back into the bloodstream. Intoxication is of course different for everyone, but even small doses can last for several hours or days. For the sake of argument, let's say the Rippers are taking large amounts. That's constantly setting one's heart rate drastically high combined with high blood pressure and body temperature. Just small amounts can lead to toxicity causing seizures, severe coma, hyperthermia, and death. There is no way Rippers are hopped up on drugs like that all the time. I do see where the writer was going with the Rippers. I personally would have made the faction smaller while maintaining their efficiency, because 2 straight years of hard drug abuse would dwindle their large numbers quickly. Lisa is actually here to save us, but in a sad way though, because she's now joined with the Rippers. Up until now, I speculated that we would find her dead or in the process of dying, which would lead to us putting her out of her misery. I mean, I'm glad she's still alive, but sad she felt this was her only option. Another stealth section happens as we sneak our way through the Ripper camp to get our stuff back. After we do get it back, we now must save Lisa, who is about to be killed by a Ripper after her capture for freeing us. Now, I know I did mention that she won't be used in anything else. I took this as just a one-off thing because it leads to a cutscene, which leads to the end of the game. It'll all make sense later. Deacon begs her to come with him to Lost Lake, but she refuses. He tells her to just go someplace else because they will kill her. Lisa does so, but not before giving us a hug goodbye. We give chase to the Rippers that are in the process of leaving their camp to attack Lost Lake. I'd be lying if I didn't say this was anticlimactic. When we get to Lost Lake, we kill a handful of Rippers and save a few people from being killed by them. This is fine and all, but it ends with a standoff when a Ripper has a gun to Addie's head. It doesn't end because he killed her, just simply because Carlos called off the raid. The Rippers literally stop dead in their tracks and walk away because somehow Mike negotiated a ceasefire. Carlos and his Rippers attacked Lost Lake, and while the Rippers are killing its members, he and Mike found time to negotiate. I find that very hard to believe. It would have made more sense if the raid happened and then a ceasefire was made after they leave and Carlos sent someone with a terms offer.
Mike, this is all just a big misunderstanding. They only want...
You attacked my camp. Murdered my people. You call that a misunderstanding?
You broke our treaty. You come onto our land. You steal our
had a deal
supplies.
to
You attack and you kill my
son of a
people.
bitch!
Mike, listen to me. I made a deal. Okay.
Hey, whoa! Weapons down!
Get low. Hold.
Hi, Skizzo. I'd like to hear about that deal.
God damn it, just wait.
Why don't you tell him? Tell him how you sold us out to them.
What the hell do you want me to do?
Oh, friggin' goddamn it, Skizzo. Why don't you tell him or I'm gonna cut your throat.
Okay. Okay! I made the deal with Carlos. Okay? Mike? But it wasn't. It wasn't to sell out the camp. I swear. It was just them. The two of them. Him and Boozer. That's all that he wants. Just them.
Yeah, how's that deal working out for you?
I did it to save the camp, Mike. I did it to fix shit. To restore the treaty he broke.
Yes.
Mike.
Deke. It's good to see you breathing. But let him go.
What?
Deke. Okay, so... is what he says true? About you making a deal?
Only lost tell lies. Yeah, it's true.
Okay. So we give you Deke, William, biker boats, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But you leave Lost Lake alone.
You will rest in peace. You have my word.
And that's something, isn't it? Your word. Grand fucking poobah of the R.I.P.
Hey, we come here under a flag of truce.
Truce my ass! This is my camp. My people. You don't come here with some blood-stained flag of truce and demand shit! Not from me! Now, I don't care what you think these boys have done. I don't care why you want them. All I know is you're not getting them.
We had a deal.
No, this is the deal, Carlos. And it's the only one you're getting. Now you take your people, and you get the hell out of Lost Lake.
Get the hell out of here.
Or we all die together. Right here. Right now.
Die.
Our treaty stands.
Always has. From where I'm standing.
You son of a bitch!
All right. Escort them out of my fucking camp.
Get him out of here. Leave.
Hey, we ain't through. Carlos.
Get low, brother.
Deke, stand aside. Stand aside!
Freaks. Oh my God.
Mike, look, I just want to say...
Take him to lockup. Fuck that, we'll take care of it. Get off him! I keep trying to tell you boys something, and you won't listen. This is not how we do things around here. We do not barter with lives, and we do not murder people in cold blood.
Deacon goes to Addie to patch him up, then together with Boozer we plan to blow up the reservoir in an attempt to drown as many Rippers as possible. Armed with a sniper rifle found in Schizo's room, we now must protect Boozer as he places the dynamite. This mission was fun. We're given infinite ammo just in case we miss. Once it's over, we go back to the lodge to kill any Rippers left and have an okay boss battle with Carlos. A knife fight to the death as he pocket sands us with drugs. I can't help but wonder what this fight is like on the hardest difficulty. It's very easy to dodge his attacks for the most part. Maybe he'd mix in some feint attacks. We inform Mike of what happened, first waiting for him to finish praying. He's upset with us because everybody's got a choice and we didn't have to choose to kill Carlos. Before the start of Act 3, Deacon reaches out to O'Brien asking him to check records for Sarah's ID. She has level 4 clearance at Nero and was wearing her work badge the night we placed her on the helicopter. When Silver Lake was overrun, Nero only saved their personnel and federal officials. Meeting up with O'Brien sees him give us Sarah's badge. She departed with a recon unit east of Fort Rock. However, the base was wiped out a year ago by a local militia group. O'Brien says that the militia is located somewhere around Crater Lake, but it's a no-fly zone due to them having RPGs. He parts with a warning about freakers evolving. As bad as things are, they're gonna get worse. Act 3 starts off with a warning that the story will temporarily lock us out from this area. There were 3 minor things I had left to do in this area, but at this point I wanted to see what was next in the story. At times the pacing is bad in Days Gone. Like this was a bombshell to Deke, but pretty obvious to the player. I want to see how the story plays out and how he will process things as they come. Before the Sarah stuff, it can be like that. Main missions are on some kind of hidden timer. Sometimes you need to wait around or sleep for them to activate. While that does provide a sense of realism, I don't want to go do what I've been doing repeatedly until that timer is over. If you're like me, you did just about everything, so multiple instances of waiting is very tiresome. So we part ways for now with Lost Lake and Boozer. Deacon gives him his cut, symbolizing he's going nomad again, just like he did when he realized he wanted to spend the rest of his life with Sarah. Going nomad in the MC is stepping away from all duties required of you, but still remaining affiliated and loyal to the club. If Deacon wanted to, at any point he could stop being a nomad. But again, he did it for Sarah. Are you getting this? Deke, nomad, love of Sarah. Iron Mike rides with us to the crossing over point, and I gotta say, I did not expect snow everywhere in this area. It's a nice change of scenery, but completely unexpected. Mike tells us to continue on the trail, and it will lead us into Diamond Lake Valley. He wishes us luck and hopes we're right about Sarah still being alive. But ask ourselves, what does it matter if everyone else is dead? Keep in mind that Deacon was doing a lot of work for Lost Lake, and not even, 2 hours ago, we killed the Ripper's leader. Surely the remaining ones won't seek vengeance. I respect Mike for saying this. There is evidence of survivors of a community that has grown to genuinely care for Deacon and Boozer. We see this when Ricky doesn't stop him from taking the dynamite, and more so when Mike defended them from Carlos. Traveling here on a hunch and leaving Lost Lake and Boozer behind would upset me too. Look at this freaking bear maul me. This is a Rager bear who has been mutated from the hooligan virus. Yes, that's the name of the virus. I purposely left it out because when I heard it in-game, many hours went by and it was said in some offhand comment. Those crows I talked about are mutated, and those awful wolves that run very fast as fully as an upgraded motorcycle are mutated as well. One man, armed with a tier 5 shotgun and a dodge roll, did what 2 men couldn't do who had the high ground. It just so happens that these 2 are a part of the militia. One of them takes us to Camp Diamond Lake where we meet Captain Corey. Alright, I'm going to be doing a bit of fast forwarding here. Act 3 is the same as the previous acts in that here we burn down nests, kill hordes, bounties, protecting the weak missions, and world events that I missed a lot more because here too, they happened a lot faster, and I pretty much never caught up to them in time. I wish there was less to do in this game, and I know that sounds like, why are you complaining about having so much content to do? This game is an open world, and a lot of areas in this open world, a lot of objectives in this open world are very samey and does get tiresome pretty quick, which I truly felt could have been rectified if there was more diversity to it. You go to these nests, like I said earlier, and instead of run-of-the-mill freakers, it's the mutated ones. Just newt ones, a combination of things, different ways to do bounties, different ways to do a lot of things. While I do understand it's to show that yes, there are nests here too in this area, and freakers, and people who have bounties on them. By this time the player already knows this, they've been doing it for the last 30 plus hours or so. I would have just left a few of these side missions here, focusing more on the main story. Don't get me wrong, I don't entirely hate it, and if you miss out on some of these side things, it doesn't entirely affect the main story or take away from its writing. It's just at this point, these side objectives begin to feel more and more like fluff and time wasters to make the game longer. During my research, the average completion time strictly for the main story alone was 30 hours or less, which is totally fine. Games do not need to be 70 hours long. The thing is, Days Gone was marketed as an open world game, but as previously stated, a lot of things in this open world are samey. But it wouldn't be much of an open world if they didn't give you tasks to do nonstop. The explosions of open world games did not do this game any favors. Change it to an action-adventure game with a compelling story and a more condensed world, perhaps the journalist would have had something better to say. I don't want to defend them too much though, because clearly most of them barely played it. Captain Corey does have a job for us, but before we do that, we meet a guy named Wade Taylor. Taylor doesn't fit the typical militia appearance because he hasn't been sworn in yet. Deacon tries to get information about Sarah from him, but Wade doesn't know anything. Wade is so high he doesn't comprehend what we're trying to tell him. The job we're given is a test for Deacon to prove his tracking skills. A soldier named Vasquez went AWOL some time ago and had been working for the Marauders. Evidence of him passing information is found in stolen rations and a hand-drawn map. We track him down where he is about to rape a woman. Instead of waiting for backup, Deacon goes in by himself. Corey is supposed to help, but not much in my playthrough. Corey catches on that Deke served in the army and turns out he has served in the Air Force. When I first met Captain Corey, I told myself that I wasn't going to like him. I wrongfully assumed he was going to be Sarah's love interest given that he has Deacon's ring. I felt he was going to be written in a way that intentionally makes the player not hate him. He's actually a really good character. He genuinely cares for those who serve under him. He and Deacon share a moment when the captain talks about his wife who passed away, still holding on to a picture of her. In a way, he's a lot like Deacon, except black and bald. In all seriousness, I could see Deacon like this if he was in a more military-based environment, coupled with proof of his wife no longer being alive. Now it's time for us to become a private in, well, whatever this is.
At ease. Visitors are not welcome here. You are here because you were invited, recruited by my trusted officers. When you answer me, start by giving me your name, last name first.
Getting by, same as everybody.
Name.
Adkins, Crystal, sir.
How many men have you killed?
Before or after?
Answer the question.
Fuck you!
We have all done things that we're not proud of. What? To survive, to stay alive. The Almighty understands this. The Almighty forgives this.
Amen. That's right. Amen.
But here, upon this woman's face, are the footprints of Satan. Prison tattoos.
I'm going to be real with you, I hate Colonel Garrett. He has that religious nutjob trope that I absolutely despise in any media. It's played out and only used so that character, usually a bad guy, can justify their garbage actions. When he calls the virus outbreak God's plague, it really annoys me because of how he is written and continues to spew religious nonsense through the remainder of the game. Often in other media, this type of character either does know God's word for the most part, again, usually to justify their crappy actions, or they pretend to know his word. It just so happens that nobody else around said person knows God's word either, so nobody can say, well, actually, this is right, this is wrong. They just take it at face value. That in itself doesn't bother me as much as when it's a combination of both. Deacon, in fact, calls out Colonel Garrett when he talks about Noah's Ark in the book of Revelations. It's actually in the book of Genesis. At one point in the game, the Colonel is giving some kind of speech where he mentions that all will be accepted. We don't care about your skin color, what country you were born in. We don't care if you're a man, woman, or transgender. We do not care if you are gay, lesbian, bisexual. Okay, great. Makes sense so far. But then he says they don't accept liars. Everyone lies, religious or not. But the bigger thing I want to focus on that he said is that the militia does not accept thieves, rapists, murderers, fornicators, adulterers, oath breakers, didn't know we were playing D&D, drug addicts, or criminals of any kind. This is coming from the guy who is religious and does not try to use that to justify his crappy actions. He firmly believes that. This wouldn't bother me if he did in fact pretend to be religious or just simply didn't know, making up his own interpretation. I hate to break it to you, but that's not how religion works. I can 100% understand not wanting a rapist in your ranks, but I would argue everyone in the militia did most of the things he deemed to be unacceptable, especially given the apocalypse-esque setting. Jesus doesn't teach hate, he preaches acceptance and forgiveness through him. While yes, I am a follower of Jesus, I'm not triggered that Colonel Garrett is misusing the word. I'm upset at this example of poor writing and all the other examples of it too. Like I said, if Colonel Garrett in the end was like, yeah, I don't believe in all that mumbo jumbo or whatever, I'd have less to say. I just can't stand that trope. As far as I'm concerned, this is my only complaint of the story from Days Gone rant over. Where were we at? Oh yeah, Deacon is a private now. Colonel Garrett shows us around. We meet the militia doctor who doesn't matter. He serves to treat our burns from Jesse. I'll spare you the details. Wade kills him because he panicked when the doctor caught him stealing drugs. We track down Wade, and instead of taking him back to be hanged, we grab the remaining needle to cause him to overdose. I know that's a large jump in the story, but if I do not do these jumps, then this video is all over the place with way too many segments in it. Next person to meet is Lieutenant Weaver. He has a mission to retrieve an MP3 player. As I'm writing this, I just realized some of you aren't going to know what that is. Well, back in my day, our phones didn't play music. We had to have two separate devices. Weaver is also responsible for creating napalm molotovs, which turns most horrors into easy mode. That I don't mind because we're in the end game, I want to have more fun. And finally, we get to meet the Wizard Island Witch, something everyone has been saying since first arriving to the militia.
All right, what is this?
Ma'am, I got everything on the requisition form.
Does this look like fabric softener?
No, ma'am.
Okay, why don't you read it?
Active ingredients, chloroform, and terpin.
Get out.
Shit.
Get out! Matt, I can't do this if I have to do my own supply runs.
I got it covered. Lieutenant Whitaker, this is Corporal St. John. He's a new member of Kouri's unit. He's got some experience out in the shit. Sarah,
Don't. No, you're dead. You're dead. You're supposed to be dead.
Hey.
You're dead.
It's okay.
You're dead.
I'm right here.
Like I said earlier, it wasn't that much of a big reveal. My first theory about Sarah was I thought she was Lieutenant Booth. They kinda sounded alike, and I assume the hazmat suit audio made her sound different. She's also not romantically involved with Captain Kouri. He has Deacon's ring just because he liked it. Deacon wants to escape with her, but she stops him, believing that she can do good things staying with them. She has been trying to work on a cure. The next several missions are spent helping Sarah and Weaver. Weaver needs resources to help create the napalm. Sarah needs them for her cure. I wish those missions had been one overall mission for each person. Another example of the game's pacing issues. There's also a unique bounty placed by Colonel Garrett on the woman he kicked out of camp. After gathering materials Sarah needed, we accompany her to a facility where she can get a centrifuge. This device is used to separate samples of whatever was gathered. In this case, it's a newt. A specific newt she believed to be different than others. And while the test subject did not survive, Sarah's research has progressed by the end of the game. Unfortunately, we do not get to see the experiments and it's left unresolved. Sarah just needs one more thing, her research notes from her old job at Cloverdale. During a flashback when Deacon picked her up for lunch, the guard was giving him a hard time when he was trying to explain that he knew Sarah. The same guard is still alive. He and a handful of other Cloverdale guards have been held up here since the outbreak. They are surrounded by an electrical fence and have been able to successfully grow food. These pieces of garbage executed the workers who were trying to leave and make it back to their families to maybe try and bring them back. The guards didn't know for sure, and they couldn't take any risk, so they killed them all. At first, Sarah is able to gain entry because her credentials are still on file. However, by the time we attempt to enter the building, they locked her out. A back entry is found as soon as we step through the remaining guards try to kill us. They end up locking us out of the main area, so Sarah creates a new set of credentials using Deacon's name. She mentions to remember our ID number. I stupidly wrote it down not knowing I actually didn't need to memorize it. Once we finally caught up to the guard, he finally lets us through the door to the research lab. Then Sarah executes him.
It's all true. I didn't want to believe it.
What are you talking about?
God, this is my fault.
I don't understand.
I should have seen it when it first went in. I mean, we used to grow wild ginger and grapefruit here. And then all of this changed. They sealed everything off. They took away my clearance. God, David kept telling me. He kept telling me that something was wrong.
Okay. Who's David?
David Gorman. He was this research intern. You know what I said? I told him that we're a farm and we're high tech and all that shit, and that there are billions of dollars at stake, and to just leave it alone. Then he didn't listen. He hacked the system, he got behind the firewall, he told me that this was some sort of classified project or something. I don't know.
Classified project, just slow down and...
He wanted to be the next Edward Snowden. You see, he wanted to blow the lid off of this entire thing. David Gorman exposes the evil empire and saves the world and all that shit, and I didn't listen to him, Deacon. I told him that he was being paranoid. And he must have broken in here and then gotten some sample of whatever the hell they were cooking in here.
Well, I don't understand. What do you mean?
I pieced it together myself a little while later. The night that I was stabbed, I went to the Cloverdale office in Farewell, and I went to go try and find David, but he was already gone. He'd been gone for 2 weeks. There was this big green expo in Portland. He must have gone to see a reporter. He was probably infected and he didn't even know it yet.
Oh my God.
And 2 days later, everybody at that conference was infected, and then they all got on planes and they went home.
Don't be a botanist, kids, or evil corporations will use you. Yeah, the game was heading in that direction the more you piece it together, which didn't take me long in my opinion, but I liked how the virus was spread. Up until now, it was never mentioned. The hooligan virus originally began as a way to improve an individual's overall health and resistance to diseases. Sarah believed that with her genetically modified plants, she was helping in treatment of illnesses. Another team at Cloverdale secretly used a part of her research in the virus. This was extremely contagious, could be spread airborne, and infected the world in mere days if it were ever to be released on a large scale. A reoccurring question that I found, and I also found that I had the same question, was that why haven't Deacon and the others turned? My interpretation is that they are infected. They're just immune to the effects. I don't see this as a stretch, given that there are 40 hordes just in the game's location setting. The Sawmill Horde has 500 freakers. I know this to be true because I turned in 511 ears collected from them. Larger hordes can potentially reach around 300, with smaller hordes reaching around 100. For the sake of argument, we'll say large freaker hordes have 200, smaller ones have 70. There are 40 hordes in total, so I'll also say half are small, half are large. 20 for half the hordes times 70 equals 1,400. 19 times 200 equals 3,800, plus the 500 from the sawmill is a total of 5,700. That's just in this small area alone. Rounding up, the US alone has a little over 19,000 cities. The average US city houses 22,000 people. Now, if this game was the actual size of a city, and let's say a third of the population in a city survived, that would approximately be 7,400 people alive, while 14,600 freakers are trying to eat them. Holy autism, I blacked out. That was a lot of math. That was probably a lot of bad math. Anywho, I think the writer pulled a little bit from The Walking Dead in terms of people being immune, and that everyone in that show is infected, and when or however they die, minus death by wood chipper or whatever, will come back as a walker. Now, we don't see that someone can come back as a freaker, but I think it was just the inspiration as to why everyone isn't changing. But let me know in the comments below what you think and tell me how bad my math was. We left off, oh yeah, Deacon and Sarah are about to have sex now, that's nice. It's too dark to get a clean shot of her foot, so that sucks. O'Brien has a favor to ask. He wants us to go into a freaker cave a research team recently went into. At some point, communication was lost. One of them is partially alive when we find him.
O'Brien, I found your last man. ID reads Cooper.
Copy that.
Hold up, he's still alive. Hold on. Hey, Cooper. Hey. Right here. We're gonna get you out of here, right, pal?
Cooper, come in.
Sorry, shoot. Went south. Team's down.
Come on.
Oh, Jesus. What's going on, Deacon? Cooper!
His legs are broken.
Hold on, stay with him. I'm sending in another team.
No. She's compromised. I'm not gonna make it. Let me talk to Jen.
Get Jen in here now!
Cooper, what the hell did this to you? What happened?
It was so fast. Didn't see it coming.
Are you telling me that a freak did all of this?
Reacher.
Cooper, are you there?
Jen?
I'm here. I can hear you.
I can't believe it. I thought I'd never hear your voice.
Listen to me. We're gonna get you out of here. Do you hear me?
Jen. I'm so glad.
Let go of me! Get her out of here!
He's gone.
Copy that. O'Brien out.
Reacher.
What the hell? So what the hell am I dealing with here, O'Brien? Talk to me.
The guys at the lab nicknamed it the Reacher. The Reacher should...
I definitely was over-leveled at multiple points in this game. This is the last mutated freaker we're introduced to. I forgot to mention the Screamer, a female-only freaker who attracts other freakers when she screams, and is very annoyingly placed around the world to knock me off my motorcycle multiple times. At this point of the game, Colonel Garrett has locked Weaver and Sarah in a section of Wizard Island over the fear they'll die too, like the doctor did. It's a brief cutscene, but Deke tells her to be ready. He's coming up with a plan to get them out. Deacon is going to disable RPGs, and O'Brien is going to make a quick landing to get them out. The two of us begin sneaking to the top of the mountain. Sarah comes in handy here, providing a good distraction. Weaver spots us, but keeps talking to a guard, motioning for us to go. Once we make it to the top, we run into the Colonel giving a tour to the new recruits. The new Schizo, thank you Mike for letting him go. We're captured, and during the interrogation, Schizo makes stuff up, which leads to our execution the next day. Garrett thinks that it was all Sarah's fault until we admit we lied. Corey then knocks us out, and we wake up with him next to a bonfire.
Okay, why?
Tat on your back. A dead dog chewing through its chains? Not something you see every day. I did some digging before we freed you. I was, I don't know, trying to make sense out of it. This was taken from the lieutenant when she came into the camp. My guess is it's yours.
Yeah, it's mine.
And your wife's name? It ain't Beth.
No, it ain't.
And you've been out here all this time? Trying to find her?
Yeah.
You just asked me why. Pretty simple, really. The way I figure it, any man who goes through God knows what to find his old lady does not deserve to die at the end of a rope.
Wait a second. You're helping me? Well, that just means you're all gonna hang.
We're not going back. The colonel is batshit crazy. Holy war, genocide, I mean, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, well then, what's the plan? What are you gonna do?
We're going east. Yeah. Hopefully we can make it to Reno. You should come with us.
Nope.
Well, you can't go back. The militia will shoot you on sight.
I'm not leaving without her. And I gotta ride north. I gotta warn Iron Mike.
It's way too late for that now.
Why?
They spent all night clearing the Santiam Pass.
What?
A convoy rode out early this morning heading north.
Oh, shit.
It's a race against time now to drive back and save Lost Lake. There are a handful of roadblocks and snipers and trees along the way. Nothing we can't handle, though. By the time we arrived to Lost Lake, they repelled the attack. This is kind of a weak point in terms of the writing. Wizard Island Militia has RPGs, better overall weapons, RPGs, more ammo, more manpower, RPGs. Seriously, why weren't any missiles used here? Iron Mike has been shot, he's bleeding out. He asks us about Sarah, and we lie telling him we found her, she's just outside. This is arguably one of the best moments in Days Gone, and really drives home how much character growth Deacon has gone through. Though that part won't be shown until the end of the game, Mike tells Deacon that he was wrong. His philosophy of building a strong community, trust in people, sharing, growing together to get through this hellhole was all wrong, and then he dies. But he also told us to do whatever it takes to protect Lost Lake. The best way to do that is to take the fight to them. It's the last thing to be expected. We're going to need a way to get past the fence, though. This is where the sawmill mission starts. See, the plan is arm a truck with explosives. The bomb is made from several resources, the main one being creosote found at the sawmill. So don't be like me and complete that horde before the mission actually starts. Apparently, it's supposed to be easier if you save it for the questline. The cutscene that plays out afterwards is a visible out-of-breath Deacon telling Boozer, "Next time I drive the truck and you fight the freakers." Boozer makes himself a part of this plan, wanting to be the one to drive the truck. That's all he can do with one arm left. This cutscene is the last thing I want you to remember.
Looks like Ricky's coming after all.
What's up, Deke? Nice jacket. Looks good on you.
Ricky, Addie, I appreciate it, but Boozer and I, we got to take care of some stuff.
Word gets around. Your speech touched more people than you thought, Deke. I told you, you can't do this alone.
This is crazy.
Oh, don't worry. They're not doing it for you. They're doing it for him.
There you go. Come on now.
For Iron Mike! Iron Mike! Iron Mike! Iron Mike! Iron Mike!
Oh, and I hope you don't mind. I sent word to some of your friends up north.
Once word got around that we were fighting back, we couldn't keep them away.
go! Got word you were planning a little road trip. Stop these malicious sons of bitches from coming in here telling us what to do. Since you've done so much for us, thought we'd come along. We'll be glad to have you. Manny.
Hey, Deke.
Nose down?
Nose down. Work hard, they feed you. Take you on damn fool errands. Get your ass shot up.
Manny, listen up.
No way. No way. I'm staying out of this.
Kidding me? The hot springs?
Yep. I sent word to Alki.
Deke.
Hello, Alki.
Tucker sends word that she couldn't make it to the fight, but wishes she could be here.
Yeah, I'll bet.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for your help. We're here to return the favor.
All right. Okay, well, you guys ready to kick some militia ass?
We're ready to ride.
This is the first secret cutscene you can only get when Mac's trust is built up between Copeland and Tucker's camp. They trust us this much after we have proven time and time again to care for them, even if we didn't show it in the best of ways. They trust us to see this through. The booze man sacrificing himself was not on my bingo book. My initial thought was he was going to stay alive since he made it through everything at this point. He's gotten to a better place. He has a little doggy. Well, remember when I said some cliches are good? Boozer doesn't die here, surprisingly. I was very happy he did not die. We fight our way through the camp while disarming explosives because the colonel is insane and is going to blow everybody up. This is a super action-based segment and I had a lot of fun. For once, I was constantly using my medical supplies. We also can save Lieutenant Weaver and get to take Schizo on 1v1. I absolutely love the final sequence with Garrett.
Sit. Let him go, Colonel. It's all over. Your militia is done.
Would you like some tea? I'm sure you would. Sarah, would you pour the drifter a cup of tea? The Ark was our only hope. You realize that, of course. When the world was cleansed, it was the only thing that would allow us to rebuild. Everything was here. Protected. Saved by the grace of God. We never did find someone to play the piano, though, did we? It doesn't matter now. When all this is gone, there'll be nobody left to hear the music. You've destroyed us. You destroyed everything we worked for.
No, Colonel, you did when you started this holy war. You know, given the choice between you and the freaks, I'm gonna have to go with them, because at least when they kill, they're just looking for a meal, and they don't kill unarmed women.
No!
And that's the game. Deacon gathers with Boozer and his allies that he's made along the way, gives a heartfelt speech that does prove that Iron Mike's philosophy can work, can change people. We single-handedly proved this when the other camps showed up to help us. Now Deacon is ready for the next chapter in his life, rebuilding. Roll credits, video's over, thanks for watching, have a lovely day, goodbye. No, but seriously, before I go over my review of gaming journalist reviews, I want to say that I truly hope Days Gone will one day get a sequel. If you look at the user reviews, the game is proven to be liked and successful. The ungodly amount of hours I put into researching this game, its reviews from critics and posts made on Reddit, by far the most common statement I would read over and over and over again from users is, I never gave Days Gone a fair chance because of what most of the critics said. Or sometimes I would find something along the lines of, so glad I gave this game its fair chance. It's become one of my favorites. The list goes on. The premise for a sequel is already there because this is actually the final cutscene to Days Gone.
Well, I can't say I expected to hear from you again. What is it this time?
Believe me or not, I'm glad to see you again. That night at Wizard Island didn't seem to go well.
What can I do for you, O'Brien?
I'm here to warn you.
Warn me about what?
You remember? I told you the infected were evolving.
Right, yeah, freak's a freak. What the hell do I care?
The strain of the virus, its effects on the human nervous and lymphatic systems is accelerating
at an exponential rate.
They knew all along, of course, that it was happening. The men above me. That's why they were so cautious, so secretive. They're coming. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do to stop them. There's nothing anyone can do.
Let's go ahead and go over these so-called reviews from Dogwater Gaming Journalist. I'll start with the worst one by far, the review from Eurogamer. I've mentioned something already from it, but I left out the best part, well, I guess the worst part, Lisa. The author writes that Deacon gets his own personal young woman to protect, Lisa, who is modeled like a short 20-year-old but talks like a 6-year-old who got hit in the head. The reason Deacon cares for her is because Lisa allegedly looks like Sarah's sister, which is never addressed in-game, just stuffed into a mission description. That's all this reviewer writes about Lisa. That's the only thing. I need to make that perfectly clear to you. Oh boy. First of all, Lisa talks the way she does, which, by the way, isn't all that abnormal because she is a child. The game tells us this in cutscenes, in Lisa outright stating the outbreak happened when she was in high school. Simple math will tell you that Lisa is most likely 17 years old. The outbreak happened when she was in high school 2 years ago. Deacon comments her age, guessing it to be 15 or 16. This is seen when he is talking to Sarah's memorial stone. 14 years old is too young to be in high school. My personal opinion is that Lisa looks around 16 to 18 years old, meaning she was probably 15 when things happened, making her 17 during the game. I mean, what do you honestly expect from a child who's gone through so much? Lisa reminding Deacon of Sarah's younger sister is mentioned in the game, not just in the description. Oh, by the way, this is that 6-year-old who got hit in the head, that so-called woman who needs to be protected.
Hey, we got a goddamn Ripper here! Turn around!
Not a Ripper!
Hey, whoa, hold up. I know her. Put that away, I got this.
Okay, take care of her. Not my problem.
Is this your ride?
It's a piece of shit, but it runs.
Well, I don't know if you're sticking around, but I could have Ricky take a look at it.
I brought some bounties to trade.
Okay. Then, I should probably introduce you to Joe Haslam. He's the bounty collector. He's right up this way.
I'm not staying. I'm not staying in a goddamn camp.
Yeah, do whatever you want. You know, while you're here, I'd like to introduce you to someone. Her name is Sarah. She had a kid sister that, well, her kid sister reminds me of you, so I thought that maybe you would like her.
I had a sister. She was older than me. A pain in my ass.
Kind of reminds me of my older brother, Boozer. Real pain in my ass. Actually, he's not my brother. We rode together in the MC. And he's the head of security around here, so you should probably meet him too.
I told you I'm not staying.
And I heard you. Seriously, do whatever you want. So what kind of gun you got there? Are you making sure that you ride out with plenty of ammo?
Yeah, I got enough. I'm good.
Huh. I was right, I had to work at that.
Do better next time. The same author continues to write that Days Gone is going back to making women only exist to enable the main protagonist's pain. Okay, so what about Ricky? What about Addie? Is the husband to a missing wife whom he last saw bleeding out on a helicopter not allowed to be in pain? Next up on our chopping block is a very bad review. The writer of Kotaku is exhausted watching another gruff white dude, his words not mine, experience the extremes of humanity to be torn between pure, reliable self-interest and the fragile strength of community, as if those are the only two ways to be. End quote. I can't believe race is unironically brought up for a review of this game. Speaking as someone who is mixed race, half white, half black, what was even the point of bringing up Deacon's race? It's total BS here because the same person did a review for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Not once is Cal Kestis's race mentioned. Not once did the guy say, hey, I see in almost all of Star Wars games, we play as a white person, or more specifically, a human. Maybe I want to be a Dathomirian or literally any other alien race out there. But no, writer at Otaku, you can't do that, since everyone at the time was piling on the hate train for something they basically have no knowledge of. I'm not some crazed fanboy of Days Gone, it certainly has its flaws. I just can't stand lazy people who can't be bothered to put in any actual thought, any actual work, use critical thinking skills, or anything else like that. Let me check my notes real quick. Ah, yes. And I quote, Deacon is selfish, and it's simply boring that the game is uncritical of him. End quote. Iron Mike calling him out multiple times throughout the game does not count. Ricky calling him out also does not count. His best friend Boozer calling him out over the Sarah stuff before it was revealed that she was alive, you guessed it, does not count. And you better believe his own wife calling him out when he wants to leave does not count either. And quite frankly, it's silly of you to think otherwise. Saving Boozer was selfish. Everything done for Lost Lake is selfish. Saving Manny from dying on a side mission is selfish. Saving Rose, who was tied atop a radio tower, was selfish. Lisa is selfish. Protecting the weak hostages was selfish. Not turning in the woman who had the bounty placed on her by the colonel was selfish. And again, you better believe, saving that woman from literally being raped was selfish. Do I really need to go on? As for me, I had a few agreements with critics. I didn't like the gas situation in the early game. Not having a radio sucked. I tested a lot of guns, and if you aren't using an automatic, powerful rifle or the crossbow, most weapons feel lacking, especially shotguns. 2 of them are only worth using, and I'd argue that they really only shine in 1v1s or funneling a horde. 1v1s can be odd at times due to poor shotgun range that only tiers 4 and 5 fix. There are a lot of sidearms in the game, and I would argue that they can be good, but once you unlock the automatic sidearm through completing 4 hordes, you'll never go back. There were a handful of moments I really just wanted the story to just move on or be done. Some side stories that only play out in cutscenes, like the doctor at Wizard Island, did not need to be stretched out. The same can be said about storylines that only take a couple of missions to complete. I did find that Days Gone does have a bit of an identity issue. At times I found myself saying or jotting down in my notes, "This is like Far Cry 3. This is like some other video game or movie." In my notes, I wrote down, "Oh, the freakers react like the one evil zombie type things do in I Am Legend when they see light, only the light doesn't hurt them at all. They just kind of shine away from it, which doesn't really matter at all because they're shown all through the story being out in daylight." Other than that, I think Days Gone is a good game that did not receive fair criticisms from critics, as well as some of them outright telling lies. One of them mentioned not fighting a mandatory horde outside of the one at Sawmill. They must have not played the mission with Captain Corey when testing out the napalm Molotovs. Days Gone is absolutely worth your time, and I hope a second game will be made one day. As I said, the resources I pulled from will be linked in the description below. I have spent a very long time researching for this video, more than I did with the Skyrim video. I hope I didn't leave anything out. Again, at one point I had way too many tabs open at once. Minus the Reddit AMA thread from Sam Witwer, I didn't link Reddit threads because that would have been like 50 extra links. If you go to the subreddit, or if you do a quick Google search, you'll find multiple threads yourself. It's really not that hard. Again, my notes are left behind. They have a bunch of typos, grammar, whatever. I can't be bothered with it. The theme of this video is hope. I know that the ending of the game would say otherwise, but not to me. Deacon has a community to rebuild, Sarah is continuously researching for a cure, O'Brien serves as an inside man. There are things to prepare for. Hope that one day things won't be like this anymore. Hope that Sarah can find a cure. The game itself is built on hope. Hope that Deacon, through all his great efforts, horrible things he has had to do, will still find his wife on the other side. He sent her away in hopes that she'll be saved and they'll meet again. Hope is that ring he holds on to so dearly. And just like hope for the characters in Days Gone, there's hope for us. And that everything we all go through, our mental, physical, financial struggles, there's hope on the other side. Just don't give up. Like I did with the Skyrim video and will continue to do with my long form videos, I want to leave you all with another Bible verse. This one comes from Isaiah 43:18 through 20 in the New Living Translation. "But forget all that. It is nothing compared to what I am going to do, for I am about to do something new. See, I have already begun. Do you not see it? I will make a pathway through the wilderness. I will create rivers in the dry wasteland. The wild animals in the fields will thank me, the jackals and owls too, for giving them water in the desert. Yes, I will make the rivers and dry wastelands so my chosen people can be refreshed." Thank you all for watching. 20,947 words for this one. I hope you enjoyed the video and have a lovely day. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.